Oh, there was a twin. I'm just saying. I heard something about it.
Okay. Yeah. I'll give you a twin. Right upside your
Oh
head.
man.
Twin knots
Man,
upside your head.
what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the RGD Podcast, episode 45. We are here. It's time. What's going on? How y'all doing? Welcome to everybody that's here. Shout out to you guys. Everybody that's joining us, hit that like button. Go ahead and share it out. Let's reach more gamers around the world. And let's go ahead and get into this show. Obviously, I'm going to let everybody get their intros in, and then we're going to begin. So, we'll talk about ladies first. Go ahead. Next.
Hey everybody, you know this is Titanfall Princess. Let's get started.
All right. Craig Harris.
Hey, what's happening? Glad to be here, ready to get these topics done. What's happening, everybody? Hit that like button.
There you go. Carlos.
Once again, I am blessed. Hey, how you doing? How's everybody doing? It's your boy Type487, aka Carlos Fernandez, gamer by choice, not by trend. RGT number 45, and we in here.
Foxy.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's Foxy Games UK, play games, not corporations. And I promise you, this week, my mind is ostensibly clear.
Go ahead, Mets. Your little tagline.
Wait, me?
Yeah.
Oh, now you don't have a tagline? Oh, okay.
No, that comes at the end. That comes at the end, right?
You know, last one. No. Oh my God.
All right, everybody. Same RGT show, same RGT channel. My name is Meds. Let's get into it.
So they're confused, so they go like, wait, what?
Korewa?
Exactly. All right, what's going on, everybody? Let's get into this, man. I'm gonna go ahead and get into some panel questions. Oh, and yes, it is official. The RGT Discord is officially now official. It's on the channel. It's in the description below. Go ahead and join the Discord. It is completely free. Everybody can join all of us, and you can talk to us, suggest things for the show, any questions, etc. If you want to get on the show as well, we'll be having that for you guys as well. We'll be having a lot of you on here as well. All right, that's what we're doing for you guys for the Discord. But let's get into some panel questions real quick before we get into the main topics. What is everybody playing on this lovely panel and in the chat? What are y'all playing?
Can I go first?
What?
Ladies first.
Go ahead,
man.
ladies first. Ladies first.
Ladies first.
Of
Cut her
course,
off.
of
I was going to
course.
say.
Actually, I was just playing and I actually just beat Onimusha. I just got it and played it and beat it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
What'd you think of it?
I love it. I thought it was great. I had fun playing it. It's a good game. I think people should try it, but that's on them. I had fun.
Okay. All right. You recommend it to everybody?
Yeah.
You too. Have a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Okay. Who's next? Med, you wanted next? Go ahead.
Yeah. I just wanted to say, I beat the Messenger today. I've been playing it, on and off a little bit, but I hit like a point in the game where I just could not put it down, and I didn't put it down until I beat it again today. And I just have to say that I wish I had played this game last year, because if I did, it would have gotten my personal 2018 Game of the Year. Yes, it's better than Celeste, Red Dead, and God of War to me, obviously to me. And I recommend it to everybody. Go check that out. It's only on Switch and PC, but go check that out.
Okay. Who's next?
How
How about Mr. World's Strongest PC? What are you playing? I'm really interested. What are you playing, Mr. Craig?
Yeah, a little bit of everything. On the PlayStation, I ran through some XCOM and Witcher 3. And it was some Horizon Zero Dawn. On the PC, I played Forza Horizon 4, and it was like wiping your ass with silk. If you are playing this game on an Xbox, don't do it. Play this on PC. I played it 1080p, 60 lock, and something called Ultra settings. I can't believe what I was looking at. So, phenomenal game. It's very fun. It's not as good as Gran Turismo, but it's still a fun game. It looks beautiful on the PC as well. Get yourselves an Xbox Scarlet like I got. Beautiful.
I mean, I'll go next just to interrupt a little bit. Nah, I played the one-shot demo for Resident Evil 2. I've been playing Borderlands on everything on PC minus Gran Turismo because I had to get back into it because of the new update. Good. I am looking forward to buying Ace Combat 7. Definitely getting Art Resident Evil 2. And I might replay Onimusha, the whole entire series, since I already have it for the PS2. So yeah, I'm gonna be busy for a couple of weeks.
Okay. All right. Cool. Me, obviously, I played the Resident Evil demo. I loved it. I was a little blue balled because they ended abruptly mid me going down the hall, but it was actually pretty damn fun. I'm definitely looking forward to that. I went back and actually revisited an old game, which I made a video for you guys on the channel. You guys gave me a lot of good feedback on. That was the Order 1886, which was still fun. Still a fun game. If you guys have not played the Order 1886, I highly recommend you go and try it out. It is definitely a treat to definitely play through. So I'm definitely still enjoying that game. But obviously, there's a lot more coming out. Resident Evil is really the star of this month, I think, for a lot of people.
Oh yes, indeed.
It's the
Yes,
star of this
indeed.
month. Now, I'm definitely looking forward. It's just a good. It's definitely a good year. It's a good year to be a gamer for sure. 2019 is going to be great. That's all I got, really, for the most part. Foxy, what you playing, brother?
Oh, incredibly gracious of you, Ryan. Me, well, let's see. I have, besides being having frustrating fun times with Donkey Kong Country on the Switch, which is a terribly addictive game, but it's really frustrating as well because you know you're making the mistake when things go wrong. It's not the game, which makes it even more sort of baffling to you and your skills as a gamer. But there you go, the rust sets in sometimes. But like everybody else on the panel, I've been playing a number of demos and been reading about demos that unfortunately none of us will be able to play yet. Demo being Resident Evil 2, that was good. Looking forward to that. That will be on my PlayStation 4 Pro this month. The other demo is I've been looking deeply into, well, two actually. The Death Stranding. I did a piece on Death Stranding. I think it was my last video, and I know everybody doesn't understand what's going on. Yes, it is rather unintelligible at this moment, but all things will be revealed to you as you get your hands on the game. And the other title that I'm very much looking forward to is Days Gone, because that is another project I'm working on at the moment, which should be up tomorrow. Unfortunately, it would have been up today, but life gets in the way. Other than gaming, I really shouldn't have been here tonight, actually. Ryan knows this. I'm really meant to be on a date, but unfortunately my date was going to stand me up. She stood me up, basically. I'm not afraid to say it. She stood me up for good reason, though. For good reason. So there's that. So I'm here. You got my dry British humor. Good for you. Good for you.
Like I told him, you don't stand up a fox. So like I say, you never stand up.
No, she had a good reason. She had a very good reason. I can't tell you what it was, of course. It's very personal, but you know, it's kind of darkened my Friday somewhat.
Oh, well, maybe next time. That's like I say.
The bitch. Money tricky. Just kidding.
Oh, here you go. All right. So another good question for everybody here now.
What are you playing, Ryan?
I went over it.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, he said Resident Evil 2 demo and Modern Warfare.
Oh, well, that demo don't count. I'm just kidding with you.
Wait, what?
Did it have any puzzles in it?
Yeah, it does.
The demo does. Yeah.
Save your stream because I'm gonna need it.
Oh, it's on the channel. It's on the channel.
Okay, cool. Yeah, save that because I'll need it in a few more weeks.
You know what's crazy? What was interesting, I was going around looking at people's streams of that, and everybody was doing so many different things. People were going outside. Some people actually found the jacket and stuff like that. I was like, wow. So
you can complete the demo, but less than a third of the players have. Yeah, it cuts you off at one point. Yeah.
I'll say, yeah, and that's interesting.
Yeah, you only get a certain amount of time to play it, so you gotta play it. You know, if you spend too much time in one area, you run out of time.
Right. Okay. So another good question for the panel and for the chat. Your most anticipated game for 2019. What is it? What's up, big kid? Yeah, see, I like how everybody got quiet. Yeah,
I think this was a question like 2 weeks ago, bro.
I'll take a stab.
No, was it?
Yeah.
What was the question again? I'm trying to.
Oh, I said, what's your most anticipated game for 2019?
Oh,
I remember Nancy said Ghost of Tsushima. I remember that.
Well, it's pretty fucking obvious, isn't it? It's The Last of Us Part 2.
There you go.
What
Well,
else
that's
could it
me.
be?
Well, oh, right.
Ace Combat in VR.
Ace Combat over The Last of Us Part 2?
Well, I mean,
That's coming out like tomorrow. That don't count.
We don't know if The Last of Us Part 2 is coming out this year.
Yeah, but let's pretend in an alternate reality that we hope it comes out in 2019. Therefore, if it does materialize, it's probably the best game you're likely to play on your PlayStation 4 this year.
Oh, well,
pretty much.
And I don't get me wrong, I don't wish to speak for everybody.
Actually, no.
I'm being very selfish with my rhetoric here. Very selfish, I understand that. But given the reception and the incredible experience I had with the first game, and really, I can only speak from my own perspective here, but The Last of Us 2 surely is 2019's swan song for the PlayStation 4, because as far as my understanding is, Ghost of Tsushima is going to be one of these transitional PS4, PS5 games. Therefore, it's very possibly coming out in 2020. But don't hold me to that, people. It's just a rumor at this stage.
Yep. There you go.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm done.
No,
if
for me,
you want me to skip that one, I'll skip that one because he said we used that. I don't even know if we used that. I forgot.
well, actually, you did use it last week, but
I got you. I got a better one. We can get to this
but
one.
just to say, if Ghost of Tsushima comes out, that'd be one. And after seeing Mortal Kombat, that'd be another one that I can't wait to play because it's changed so much and it's so good from what I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if you get into that, I'll get into that if you're going to talk about. Is that going to be a subject you're going to talk about on
Ghost of
tonight?
Tsushima?
No, Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
All right, then I'll wait to give my input on that later.
All right.
I don't want to spoil it. I'm just
I know. Kratos done went extra on Twitter with that one. He bought that damn collector's edition. So shout out to Kratos.
Yeah.
Okay. So name an old school game that should be resurrected.
Outrun.
Ooh.
That was the question I tried to get yesterday. Yeah, we couldn't get to it. Everybody was
Outrun.
An old
Sega.
series that should be resurrected?
Yeah, an old game that should be resurrected.
Ooh.
Outrun.
I got my answer.
Sega's
You guys
Outrun.
I hear Outrun. Who else? What's you at?
Jet Set Radio.
Jet Set Radio Future. Okay, respect. That's it. Okay.
My answer is Final Fantasy Tactics.
Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah, that's
Give me a new tactical Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, very underrated game. I agree.
Okay. What else, Nancy? Would you like to get resurrected in an old franchise, an old game?
Nancy.
She thinking that one through. she stuck with that one.
Actually, I changed my mind. Until Nancy comes back, I changed my mind. I'd like to see a complete remake with the Red Dead Redemption 2 engine of Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I like that. That would be great.
all right. I'm back. I'm sorry that my phone rang. I had to get it. I you know what I'd like to see? It's not like super old, whatever, but I like to see a new Getaway.
Oh wow, Nancy, you've
answer.
opened a can of worms there. The Getaway, a British title in England, right? That Sony almost didn't want to release in America because of the unfamiliarity with the British culture, the great British culture. Yes, what a wonderful game, Nancy. You have my attention.
No, I would like to see another one. I really would. Or have it redone or something. Yeah, it was a good game. It was an excellent game. If people don't know what it is, they got to go back and look. They got to go back and check it out.
I think the time's right. It's PlayStation 5, resurrect the Getaway. Let's see some European, Interpol, even America. Like we could fly to Miami, you could go to France, you could go to Italy, you could drive around London. It should be one of these globalist type games. Henry Kissinger should be in the game.
That too. My take would be Contra.
Yeah, that's a classic.
Contra.
Yeah.
There's so many good games.
You get
Time
a little bit.
Crisis, another. Obviously, Dino Crisis. I keep talking about that. I want that so really bad.
Carlos, I have a question.
Yeah.
When you say you want Contra to come back, do you want just like kind of like they did with Mega Man 9 and 10, just like a new game but in the old style, or do you want it completely like reimagined?
I want to completely reimagine with the Doom kind of setting. That you
Oh,
just first person perspective, but with crazy power up
Mm.
weapons and some good old traversal mixed in, just like in Mirror's Edge. I mean, it would literally catapult the game. I mean, there is a project that was being done by a developer. This was way back, like about maybe 6 or 7 years back, and they actually had taken the Contra game, the concept, and turned it into a first-person view perspective. Really didn't captivate much funding, but it always has, kept me wondering, what if they take that same concept and turn it into something as how that person did in the first-person view perspective, but with the traversal, powered up, powerful weapons, and crazy looking graphics.
Okay. There's a lot of good games everybody keeps putting in the chat. Shout out to PlayStation Inquisition for the super chat. He
Comic
said
Zone,
Ghost in the Shell for
Ghost in the
PS1.
Shell,
ooh, Comic Zone. Wow, classic.
Comic Zone, Vector Man. You
Rival
had,
Schools, Siphon Filter.
What about you, Ryan?
and a lot of people overshadowed this one a lot, but it was one of my favorite PlayStation 1 games. One of the first games that I bought on my PlayStation 1, Jet Moto.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know what Ryan wants. Everybody know what Ryan wants. Ryan wants the Order 1887.
Damn right.
Oh God, that's not old. That came out like 3 years ago.
Exactly, but he still, he still wants it though.
You're not, yeah, you read my mind. Totally read my mind. I would probably go with what my homie Big Kid said. Bloody Roar for sure. That's
Oh
one.
yes!
Bring that
Oh
back.
my
Bloody
God,
Roar
man!
for
Bring
one, for
it
sure.
back.
What else? Dino Crashes, obviously. I want that, if that's possible. And Capcom versus SNK. Give me something like that.
It's
Yo,
crazy because
how
there's
about
so
Gex?
many games that we
How
could
about-
name. We could be here
Exactly.
all night just naming the games.
Mhm.
What
How
about rival? What about rival schools? Do you remember rival schools?
Somebody
Capcom
put that in
back
the
on the
chat. Yeah,
PlayStation.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody said that. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about
Oh,
how about Gex?
good
the
taste for the
Gecko?
person in the chat. Very good taste.
Gex the Gecko, which was
Nah,
Oh,
nobody
hell
misses
no.
that. Nobody misses that.
what?
Hell no. Hell no.
Not even an Earthborn Jim remake.
Hell no. I'd rather Earthworm Jim.
Yeah, then Gex the Gecko. There's a reason why he's in the past. Let's leave that dude there.
I don't want to see Blinks either. Bloody Blinks.
Nah, Blinks. There's a reason he's in the past too.
Oh God,
Oh,
you guys,
He could sweep.
I don't even
he
know how
could
Busby.
sweep
How did
time
Busby?
you
that
guys
away.
are killjoys.
How did
man.
Busby make a comeback? How the hell did Busby? Who gave Busby another chance? Shoot that person.
Bro, who the fuck wanted a Shaq Fu too? I don't know, man, but shit happens.
How about some Conkers? Damn it, we haven't had a good Conkers game since what, the 360.
Hey man, talk to Uncle Phil. Talk to Uncle Phil. Talk to him nice.
God damn, like let go.
Talk to
At
him
least
nice.
talk to him nice. He better let go of the damn IP if them Rare doesn't want to take up the mantle. Shit,
That's
there's
the
plenty of
fuck. Yo,
developers
that's
that can
he
learn.
said. Talk to him.
Man,
Talk to him nice. Maybe he'll
Talk to him
you know.
Phil ain't gonna
Accommodate
do
you.
squad, man. He's not gonna accommodate nobody. He just sold that
Yeah,
Do
IP.
you know what? Do you know what? May I just say? May I just
Stupid.
interject?
Talk to
If
him nice.
may I just interject? If they did resurrect Outrun and make it, because that would have been my first pick had it not been for my, I changed it to my second pick now. But if they did do that, I'd like to see it in a Burnout style, like open world with you got the girl next to you. I still want the girl next to me.
Sort of like what Criterion did with the Burnout series, right?
Yeah, and this does, and I don't want the sisters out there, to get upset with this, but just for authenticity's sake, she must have the same blonde hair that she had in the original game. So obviously she's going to be a Caucasian chick sat next to me, driving in the Ferrari in a Burnout open world kind of setting with the original Beetle cars. Make it be set in the 80s, not an up-to-date thing. Let it crash. Let's have those slow-mo crashes. Let's have a, wagging a finger at you when you crash. I'd love that in an open world Burnout style, but make it more fun and comical than Burnout.
Yeah, that
Sure.
would be good.
Sly Cooper. I mean, great.
Yo,
to
Sly
get that.
Cooper was. A lot of people slept on Sly Cooper. That
Yeah.
game was freaking lit.
I played every single one. I even got the collection and went back on those. But I even like Thieves in Time for some reason. I thought Thieves in Time was pretty well done. The only thing that was annoying about Thieves in Time was the loading times.
Yeah, that. Oh, how about Time Splitters, man? Anybody play Time Splitters
But
back in
Oh,
the
of
PS2?
course.
they're bringing that back already, so
course.
you don't have to worry about that one. That's
Oh,
coming back anyway.
thank you, Foxy.
Oh,
Thank you.
Liddy.
Do you know who bought the license to that? That
Who?
company that's buying up all of the licenses. I think it's
THQ Nordic.
yeah, they bought the license to they own that now, so that's
Oh
in
my
development.
God, bro! Don't say that to me, cause bro,
Damn.
I'm hyped now. No,
Yeah,
I'm
they're probably
really
working
hyped.
on it now as I'm taking a puff of this wonderful piece of marijuana.
Everybody's going crazy. Yeah, look at these games.
Yo,
Look at these
Command
games.
and
Command and
Conquer
Conquer.
was
Yeah, there
lit.
you go. Yeah. So
Jungle
many good
Strike,
games.
Jungle Strike, Desert Strike.
Where is
Damn.
Why don't they make a Tarzan game? What is wrong? What have they got against Tarzan?
Not
Why not
even that.
Tarzan?
Hey, how about
Which one
Pitfall,
you talking about? You
Foxy?
talking about animated or like a legit?
No, do a Tarzan game. I want to be in the jungle as Tarzan, running around in my designer ancient primitive shorts. Okay, and I want to, run. I want to run with gorillas, like gorillas in the mist, giant ones. I want to make friends with lions and tigers and protect them from the evil humans that are coming for their fur.
Oh my
Hey,
God.
don't get me started, man. Everybody remembers James Bond. Everybody remembers that.
Oh
Come on,
yeah,
don't get
James
me
Bond,
started.
GoldenEye
Of
on
course,
64,
don't get me
man.
started with that.
One of the
People say
one
a
of,
lot of shit about EA, but they produced some damn good Bond games in the
Dude,
past.
one of my all-time favorite games will always
What was
be
it? Activision? Was it
Nightfire.
Activision or EA? I
No,
think it was Activision. Actually.
no. EA made some bangers back then. They made 007 Nightfire, which was the GOAT.
Was that EA? What? So it
That
was
was
EA. I
EA.
was
That
right
was
the first
EA.
time.
They made that one.
Okay. You never can
everything
tell
was
these
EA.
days.
That was EA.
You know what? You can never tell these days because one evil corporate company looks the same to me.
It changed quite a bit. Quite a bit. Shout out to PlayStation
What else you
Inquisition.
got,
He said an open world Carmageddon. Anyone? That's what he said.
Ooh, yo, Carmageddon wasn't bad. It was actually okay.
A lot of good suggestions here. A lot.
Skies of Arcadia. That's another one.
Oh,
God damn,
fire,
Foxy.
fire.
Foxy,
you
you
brought
taking it back,
homie.
man. Not even that. Has anyone played Legend of Legaia?
Fire.
Yeah, I played
That
that.
was like Super
Dual-
Nintendo, right?
Nah, it's
Yeah.
PlayStation
No,
1.
that was on the original Sony PlayStation 1, yeah.
PlayStation 1.
What about Legends of Dragoon? That's another good one.
Bro.
Oh, everybody wants
Foxy.
that back. We tired about asking for that. You know, Sony owns the IP to that, and they just choose to do nothing.
Even Dark Cloud, not the YouTuber, the other Cloud, the one that you play.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
Forgot about that game.
I mean, what about I know a lot of people never played as much, but it was on the Sega Saturn. Knights.
Yeah, I remember that.
about
Yeah, I
that.
remember
Nights
that.
into
I remember that.
Dreams.
Yeah, you can
man.
buy that on the PS3 though. That's like
And the PC.
Yeah, but I
$5.
want a remake. I want something a little bit
Oh, you
slightly
won't get
different.
that. You won't get that.
Maybe
Sega's
you
long.
got a
Yeah,
remake
that's not
of
happening.
Lair.
You may as well. You know what? The only way you'll get Nights into Dreams is via Kickstarter, like how you got Shenmue 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of crap load of games that could be taken from those days, reimagined, rebranded, and just redesigned completely from the ground up, and just bring it back. Of course, Tenchu is one of my all-time favorites. You can't go wrong with Tenchu.
I got
another one. What about Conflict Desert Storm?
Oh
yeah,
my God!
EA, I remember that. I remember that one on the Genesis. Yeah.
Yeah, they need to.
That's a good game. That was. It was a free. It was an isometric top-down game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it Rumble Roses? He said, "Bring that back." Okay.
What about Power Stone? Remember Power Stone 1 and 2?
Yeah, I remember that.
God damn, man. Y'all taking it really back, man.
Yeah, but I'm going to take you further back.
There's an old game. Rumble.
There's an old game by Konami, a very old game by Konami that many people may be too young to have even know, but it's called Yeehaw Kung Fu. And I would love for them to do a modern version of Yeehaw Kung Fu, real Kung Fu, not like that crap, these stupid acrobatic nonsense kind of, pseudo, I don't know, magical nonsense. I want the old school Kung Fu. Do you remember when Jackie Chan was younger and, all you heard was the funny dubbed accents, I'm gonna kill you. No, you're not. I'm the best fighter in town.
You must not know about my techniques.
My wing young child will break your nose. Ah, I'd like to see you try it. You'll never hurt me. My monkey wing chun style will kill you.
No, but mine
Man.
is more deadlier because I utilize all of art forms and techniques that are more powerful than yours.
I've had 3 Weetabix. Don't mess with me.
Oh my God, you guys are not gonna keep doing this.
But you cannot defeat me.
Let's go
I
ahead
am
and get
the
to these
grand
topics.
master
Y'all ready?
Of all masters.
Let's get to these topics.
Let's get it. These guys
Let's
are going
get
for
it. Y'all already know it.
Hey, you
All right,
can't get
so
mad.
we got
at
some new trailers. We got some new official trailers. We got a new trailer for Days Gone, which looked stunning, and we got an actual legit gameplay video and trailer for Mortal Kombat 11. What's your thoughts on this?
Well, I gotta say one thing. When it comes to Mortal Kombat 11, I loved it. I love the graphics. I love how you can't spam certain moves. I like the footsie action in it. I think it's great. How you feel
about Ronda Rousey being shoehorned in it?
You know what? I think they just wanted something new, and since her name's out there, they just did it. You know, it doesn't matter to me either way. I mean, really, as long as the voice acting is good and the shit is good, I don't really care. You know, who does it? You know, just don't fuck it up. That's all I gotta say. Don't mess it up.
Right.
But does she sound too generic?
I don't.
I mean, honestly, I didn't even pay that.
It's Ronda Rousey. She's generic.
I didn't pay any attention though.
Yeah, I was more focused on like the environments and the gore with the fatalities. To be honest,
yeah, those were crazy.
Those were really good. Yeah, who was that character with the blood where he's making blood come out your body and turns to knives? Who was that?
Oh, she was in Mortal Kombat 9.
Was she? I'm trying to remember who the hell that is.
I think she was a DLC from.
Oh,
9.
she DLC.
No, not in this game. She's going to be a mainstay in this game, but she's from
in the last
DLC pack from Mortal Kombat 9.
Yeah, her fatality was pretty gruesome. So
she's quite gorgeous, though, isn't she? She's quite attractive, but not Ronda Rousey's Sonya, because I looked at Ronda Rousey's an attractive woman. Okay, forget what you think of her. She's not an unattractive woman, right? But when I saw Sonya in the game, she looked more like, I don't know,
Cassie.
No, she looked more like Caitlyn Jenner.
Oh shit!
You know what I mean? I'm not saying that in a facetious sort of way. She looks rather masculine. She looks rather masculine for me.
I don't know what you're talking about. Caitlyn Jenner is a beautiful woman. All woman. All woman, baby.
You're certainly entitled to your opinion, sir, and I will not challenge you on that.
No, but I will agree with you on one thing, Foxy. It did look more masculine and feminine.
Yeah, she looked too grimacing and muscular. She was like some. I know she's a GI Jane. I know. All right, she obviously works out in the fictitious world that is video games. But listen, they still need to. I mean, Supergirl's tough as nails, but she looks like a hottie. Why does Sonya look like she's been working in the mines for the last 20 years? Why does she look so masculine?
Well, then in Mortal Kombat 2, didn't she have her arms cut off and have metal arms put on or something like that?
Yeah, but I think they deal with parallel universes, don't they? This didn't happen in 10. That was a dream.
Oh.
Man, you can't be taking Mortal Kombat lore seriously.
I mean, technically,
exactly.
Like, all the endings that you get in Mortal Kombat, 99% of them are just bullshit. They just throw them in there for filler.
Yeah. As long as the game's fun, but
I don't know why they didn't use Ronda Rousey's face. It's easy. You've got to just digitize her face, for crying out loud. Don't try and do an approximation of what she looks like when she's in the ring getting her ass kicked, because that's not the Ronda Rousey I want to play with in the game. You know, it looks more like a man than a woman.
She ain't the same, man. I'm sorry. I'd never looked at her the same ever since her face was used as a.
Well, you know what, Ryan, I guarantee you, if she pulled up in a whip and said, "Let's go on a date," you'd be the first to jump in, mate.
Of course.
You soon forget about that ass whipping she took. You'd be more interested in the whooping she gonna give you.
Well, she's saying I'll go. So she's gonna pay for it, I'll go.
No, she's attractive, man. I don't, you know, I'm not talking about her. I'm not talking about her skills as a fighter. I'm talking about her physical form. Her aesthetic is pleasing to my eyes. Is that okay?
Shout out to PlayStation Inquisition again. He says Xenosaga was a big multi-plat RPG back on PS2, Wild Arms 2 as well.
The one other thing I would say about Mortal Kombat is it seems more fluid. You know what I mean? It flows better, than Mortal Kombat 10.
Yeah, I will agree with that. They did. It feels a little faster than the last one.
Yeah, it's the best fighting game ever created by mankind.
Yeah, but it's got more in common with Injustice 2 now than Mortal Kombat 10, hasn't it? They're using whatever they used with Injustice 2, so you're going to get that more fluid combat because they're no longer using 10's engine.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell because it went from 10, which was great, to wow, look at Injustice 2. There's a huge difference between Mortal Kombat 10 and the graphics and animations in Injustice 2. And I clearly saw that, as Nancy rightly says, I saw that improvement with 11. They're clearly using the same animation frames and, you know what I mean? But obviously changed to match the moveset.
Yeah, that's very, very true. That collector's edition, what they want, $230 for, and you get the game, you get the steel book, and you get Scorpion's mask.
Yeah, this is probably good for somebody who wants to never open it and then sell it in 25 years and make a couple thousand grand on some auction site, but it's not something I'd be interested in. No.
I mean, Jesus Christ. Like it comes with a head, obviously, and you can put the mask on the head and display it. But I mean, damn. I mean, this is kind of like on par with Sony did with Spider-Man, where they were giving away the mask at one of those collector's editions.
Yeah,
very similar to that.
You know what? Saying that, Ryan, though, if I was on camera, I can understand the appeal, because if I was on camera and my show was filmed,
right,
I probably would buy all that stuff as background. Junk just to make the whole shot look more appealing and fun, because that seems to be the trend these days, even though I'm not a trend follower. But I actually feel rather comfortable just doing the audio, the vocals. I'm not interested in showing my extremely attractive and charismatic face to anybody, actually.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But is it $230 or is it $300? He said $300 at GameStop. Jesus.
Exactly. I mean, $300, man. Come on, man. How can you look your kid in the face?
In Australia,
you got a kid with shoes that are talking, and you're spending $300 on a mask.
No, not me, bro.
That's kind of going in the realm of what was it, Fallout 76? Remember how they gave you the helmets? And it's supposed to be a mesh bag or whatever, and you got it. It wasn't a mesh bag, but you did get the helmet. Kind of going in that realm. It's like you got to be a legit faithful, pretty much, to want to buy it.
It's good. It's good for collectors if you never open it, because it's not worth anything once you open it. And then if you're happy to wait 25 years to make $2,000, I salute you. I'd rather make $2,000
it's like
in a couple of weeks and wait 25 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, very true. Just like Capcom asked you for $5,000 for those jackets for Devil May Cry.
Yeah, I'm thinking about trying to save up some money. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my god!
I'll get one made.
You would buy that though.
I don't. Yeah, I don't. I didn't play Devil May Cry. I didn't play Devil May Cry 2. So I'm not.
That's the worst one, bro. Don't play that.
Yeah, well, I didn't. Yeah, the part 1 I barely played. I'm like, it was okay, but everybody's making this huge deal about it. Although playing it on that new Vega AMD card does look scrumptious.
Listen, man, I played Devil May Cry the whole entire series. I still own the whole entire original disc, and I can say this: part 1 by far was the best one in terms of gameplay and story.
Yeah, and the character, cool character. Yeah, rat-a-tat-tat.
All right. This was actually shared with me on Twitter. Shout out to Mr. Mega for this. According to this, the multiplayer for Crackdown 3 was actually being played by a few people, and they're saying that it's actually good.
Oh, great.
Interesting.
So apparently, a lot of people might got it wrong with this multiplayer. The multiplayer might actually work.
What about the single player?
That's good news.
And that right there is the $1 million question. That is.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of focus on Crackdown 3, isn't there? A lot of focus on that game. You know, we don't know anything about it really.
Yeah.
Didn't Red Faction have a whole bunch of stuff getting blown up? I mean, like years and years ago.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, Red Faction's engine, I mean, the story was got, but the engine which you were on actually was, I mean, there's still stuff now that you do now, like in Far Cry, and say this like Red Faction. You'll go around blow shit up. That's not in Red Faction.
When is it releasing? Does it have a date even?
February 15th.
Yeah.
So this is a bit disgraceful actually, because the game's going to release in a matter of weeks, and we're getting nothing. There's no promotions, there's no promos, there's no commercials. I don't see any billboards.
Bro, they don't give a fuck about this game. They're just happy that they're finally gonna be able to push it out and be done with it.
That's disgraceful because there's more buzz about Days Gone. Days Gone is coming in April, okay? Some 2 months later.
Yeah.
And we're hearing more about Days Gone.
Getting more details. The new trailer that we got for showed off what were they talking about? The traction on the tires and all that, how you go through like terrain, the weather.
See, when Microsoft does things like this, it doesn't instill much confidence for the next generation, I'm afraid, because if you can't even promote your own titles, what the hell?
Well, they'll promote it, I think.
They don't have the faith.
When it's coming out in a few weeks. When are you going to promote it? The day before it drops.
Launching it, and they don't have the faith in it because they did.
They should have been promoting it from December. They should have been promoting it from the end of December on a straight run all the way up to the day of its launch.
But we still got the Super Bowl, and that's when I would if I'm Microsoft and marketing, that's the ad I buy. Like, this is the most people in the world are going to be watching this sporting event. We're gonna have an ad during the Super Bowl, and that's all you need is a few, and then maybe one more ad after that, and that's it.
I know Spider-Man is a very much higher profile game than Crackdown is, but it still took marketing dollars, marketing spend, and believe you me, in the run up to Spider-Man's release, I couldn't go anywhere in London or anywhere I went, anywhere without seeing on the train, on the buses, on the tube, on billboards, everywhere, on TV, YouTube. It was just like Spider-Man fever everywhere. And I think this must have cost Sony tens of millions, like at least 100 million, at least 150 million to do that, because they did it for like 4 weeks, 5 weeks straight. And I'm telling you now, this is not an exaggeration. There was nowhere I could go within 100 to 200 yards of seeing something about Spider-Man. Even at a bus shelter, anywhere.
They went all out for Spider-Man, because I remember before the game came out, they were selling shirts, like T-shirts for it, like custom shirts, and people were walking around with that shirt. You know what? Spider-Man suit and all that on it. Plus, they had the train and they had the custom buttons.
You know what's the funny part though about this whole situation, and I'm sorry to interrupt you guys, but the advertisement to the game was already been done with the announcement of Terry Crews. Ever since Terry Crews was announced for that game, every single Xbox fan has been anticipating the game, and they all, I mean, especially, certain people that had legal issues were actually touting the fact that we have Terry freaking Crews on the game. So,
but how many people know that apart from Xbox fans that Terry Crews is promoting this game? Because have you seen this advert of Terry Crews anywhere but at Microsoft's own?
I only seen it.
Have you seen it? Have you seen it being run as a YouTube ad?
No, I only seen it once on TV, and it was during a ESPN quick commercial.
Right. Well, shouldn't it be a YouTube ad? Shouldn't you click on a video and that pops up for and then you want to skip it, you can skip it, but it's an ad. Shouldn't that be there?
Yeah.
So close to release. I mean, come on, people.
Yeah.
Are we selling games or are we not selling games? What's going on? That's the question I'd be asking the marketing department. Are we selling games?
I mean, he's literally the only good thing about the game. The fact that Terry Crews is even with it. That's pretty much it. That's like the only positive going into it.
But that makes the commercial good. That makes the commercial very good, but not the game, I'm afraid.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like you don't hear nothing. We just got more details again for Days Gone. Got more details for Mortal Kombat. This game is so close, and again, we're just kind of still in left field.
The thing is that everybody's gonna play it on Game Pass anyway. Like, I don't know anybody who's legitimately hyped for it.
Do you
Like,
think that's
I'm an
fair,
Xbox
though? I mean,
guy
that
now,
kind
kind
of
of.
weird though. Doesn't that kind of just like it feels like just throwing it on there? It's like okay, well, it's $10. Throw it on there. You know,
The
like,
thing is
look.
that they don't have any confidence in it, and that's obvious. And
Look. One person in the chat said they saw it as a YouTube commercial. Well, Microsoft, there you go. You got one sale there.
I mean, this is.
I'm gonna
this is-
play it, but
I'm gonna
only because
play
it's
it
on
as
Game
well.
Pass.
I'm gonna play it as well, but it's like where's the exposure? Where's the info? Where's the incentive to make people want to play your game? That's what mainly is like really concerning with the whole situation with Crackdown 3. I get that the Xbots on Twitter are all happy. They all trill nilly because the game got announced for February 15th, but the general demographic of everyone else that has been, trying to see themselves being captivated into buying Xbox One X. Where is that motivation to draw those people in? That's where the emphasis of this whole marketing thing has to come into effect.
yeah.
Well,
And
maybe
shout out to the indie gamer and shout out to Jay Bari in the chat.
Yeah,
What's
I
going on?
like Jay Barry's comment actually. He said, "Now they've got Game Pass." This is a very good comment actually. I credit to you for even thinking of this. He says that rather than individually promote games now, they're just going to stick it on Game Pass and promote Game Pass. Sadly,
Yeah. Sadly, that's the sad reality of games as a service. Because guess what? Game Pass is a games as a service model that only sells for them because they need ad revenue for their company.
damn. Jay Barry, that comment was so good. We should pay you $10.
Yeah, man.
It's interesting though. It really is interesting for the future. I mean, the fact they just threw this on Game Pass and literally showed a lack of faith in it, it kind of makes you look at the future very, very closely at this point. Like everybody should do that as well, especially when we're going into new projects. Remember, we have 7 new studios from them, and we don't know exactly what they're working on. We do know for a fact that the coalition or the initiative, I'm sorry, is going to be making AAA games. But that's about it. So
Hey, quadruple A. All right, get it right, homie.
quadruple.
There ain't no such things as quadruple A's.
You finna find out, homie.
It's not. There's no such thing as quadruple A's. The only thing is,
Yet.
I know.
Yet.
I heard about quadruple L's. That's what they've been taking more for the
Oh,
most part
Jesus.
of latter 20 plus years.
Hey, man. We moving past that. That's in the past, all right?
Here's a conspiracy. Here's a conspiracy for us to chew on. A conspiracy theory here. What say Microsoft is just doing low budget filler titles to fill up Game Pass rather than doing huge AAA investments into games.
That's
Let's
exactly
just
what
say
they're doing.
that only Gears and Halo and the Forza series will be the only games that see any significant or major budget towards them, and everything else that Microsoft produces is pretty much going to be like another turnip in the sandwich. Just throw it in there. It's just for the numbers.
That's
Play
kind
the
of
numbers.
the point. That's why they focus on AA studios. They're looking for something to build upon to make that, I guess, into a AAA budget type of thing. In retrospect, they're basically looking for the next. What was that game called? Cuphead. In a weird way. The next Cuphead.
Speaking of Cuphead, where is the expansion? My goodness, they can't
It's
even
coming
release
this year.
that.
It doesn't have a date.
I heard about it.
Then
Dude,
that's a
You come out
great
the
game,
expansion
man.
with the female Cuphead lady.
Yeah,
now?
they'll announce it at E3.
Launched.
I mean, golly. I mean, it's they gotta have more stuff at E3. And, they will announce that.
Hey, but let's not forget. 2019 is the year where the Xbox is gonna outpace Sony because of E3.
Okay,
Stop it, man. Stop
Let's
it.
just stay on that.
Let's be sensible here. I hope they do well in 2019, but outpace Sony, they will not.
I mean, they got other things to worry about. Sony's
Just wait until E3. Wait until E3. That's what they
Yeah.
say.
To E3.
E3.
I've been waiting. And listen, Nancy, I've been waiting for E3 since I was a child, and it's nothing's happened.
No, like, you think about it, the last thing they got to worry about is PlayStation. They really got to worry about Nintendo. Nintendo's working on something.
Nintendo's about to lap 'em.
Nintendo creeping up very slowly.
Yeah, they're
but
creeping on
surely.
something because did you see those screenshots, Foxy? Apparently, there was if I remember correctly, I don't have it on my notes, but I saw it on Twitter. They were showing what was it, the Breath of the Wild running better on like a new updated version of the hardware, and they were claiming
Really?
possibly, yeah, it was basically the exact same processor, but it was upgraded.
No.
They're showing that off. They're claiming
That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. Or I shouldn't say that's not true because I don't want to call you a liar, but it's certainly incorrect. No. What they did is they found a new way to emulate Wii games where there's deep learning system being added to the emulation program. So now what it does is it just somehow improves it magically, the frame rate, the resolution, and magically brings it up to a 1080p full HD image on the same shield technology that the Nintendo Switch, the current Nintendo Switch, is based on. The only difference between the Switch and the Shield is that the Shield is fully clocked up to its capabilities, whereas the Nintendo Switch has been clocked down. It's the same hardware, though, so it's capable of doing exactly the same thing that we saw. You know, what you're talking about, right? It can do the same thing. Yeah, it's just for Nintendo to implement it. Would they do that, or would they rather make it again and sell it to you for $50, $60? You know, I don't think Nintendo's in the habit of doing things for free. I think they'd rather make the game themselves and sell it to you.
Pretty much
for $60, $50.
That's kind of been their
Because
attitude.
if they give you the software to improve the game, I mean, let's be honest. Even if there's no back compatibility anyway, so your Wii game is not going to work. They can't even put it on the store for you to download because it's speaking a completely different language. So Nintendo's either going to have to do fast remasters using that technique that they're doing with the games releasing in China, or Nintendo are going to just be the stubborn Nintendo that we know and love, and they're going to just build the game from the Wii U's code, convert it over that way rather than emulate it, and just improve it that way, which is fundamentally better because you're not going to get the kind of enhancements that you've seen with Smash Brothers Ultimate and some other games like even the Mario and Luigi game that just released, right? There are remodeled characters and there's lighting that's been added and life shafts. You won't get that with the emulation that Nvidia are doing. So maybe it's better that Nintendo builds these games again from the original source code rather than emulates them, because you can't play your old games on the Switch anyway.
Yeah, pretty much.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, how are you going to play your Wii and Wii U games on the Switch?
There's too many limitations, and then you have to do a lot of source coding for that to happen. And quite frankly, it costs them a lot of money as well just to do that, and it takes a lot of time. My thing is, right, with this whole situation, why not emphasize on making a mid-gen refresher for the Switch?
They're doing that. They are doing that. They're actually doing it. It's going to be revealed this year. It's going to be revealed this year. Don't you know?
And not be like have both feet. Like that's what Michael Pachter is suggesting, that they're going to have a portable only version.
No. They're going to have probably a portable only, but not as Michael Pachter incorrectly said. And hey, he may end up being right on this, but at this point in time, I don't think this is the direction Nintendo is going to take. I still think you're going to be able to remove those Joy-Cons. I do not think they're going to be, attached to the system, and you can't, because there's too many other functionality involved in the actual the whole ethos of the Switch. There's too much functionality that you'd be losing if those Joy-Cons could not be attached. I mean, motion control is literally out of the window for one, whether you like it or not. Some people like motion control. That's
Wouldn't that be
obviously why
kind of weird
Nintendo-
though? You think about them doing that. I mean, wouldn't it just be more logical just to sell the Switch as itself, like separate from the dock?
No dock, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of just going into that realm. Just sell it.
Look, they can make it smaller.
Yeah, but Michael Peck
can
has
make
never
it-
been wrong, so hey.
They can make it. Yeah, they can certainly make it smaller, and even the Joy-Cons smaller. How much smaller? I don't know because they're already small for my hands. However, if I take it, if it's going to be portable only, they're probably going to market it at kids and teenagers who don't typically have very large hands. So
Right.
perhaps that will work. But although they'll make it smaller, I still think those Joy-Cons will come off. They'll probably just be mini Joy-Cons that are incompatible with the launch Switch.
I agree. Yeah, it's a lot of possibilities with Nintendo on the Switch.
So they're making it smaller gives you a huge problem because, as we know, the current Switch has a heat problem for some people, and it also has the battery situation.
Right.
So if you make it smaller, you're making it work harder, and the only way you're going to solve the battery situation is if they obviously put a new chip in there in that range that Nvidia has. Okay, what's the chip called? The X something. What's it called? X1, right? X1.
Yeah.
Okay, so if they put the
Tegra.
X2 in there, the Tegra X1. If they put the Tegra X2 in there, that might solve the battery problem and the overheating issue, therefore negating shrinking it down into a smaller unit form factor. However, is Nintendo going to do that and obviously increase the price of it or maintain the price and then reduce the price of the original launch model? Who knows? Nintendo may very well sell them both for the same price.
Yeah, and then pretty much I think that's what they'll probably do just to make make up for any profit loss. They'll keep it at the same price as they did with the launch with the Switch in order to gain back something for it. But at the same time, like if I can recall, Tegra chips are not that highly expensive anymore. They're pretty much bargain buys if you go to any.
Listen, you're dealing with Nvidia. They're going to be fucking expensive.
Oh yeah, well yeah, Nvidia's
Nintendo.
That Jensen guy. Those flashy leather jackets he wears and that Brill cream he so often uses in his hair. You think and that extra tan he's got on his Asian skin. You think he's gonna do cut Nintendo some slack? He's gonna try and make the deal as good for himself as possible.
Foxy.
He had me dying when he was talking about the 2080 Ti cards, though. Ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
He beat himself.
but Foxy, my thing is right. If Nvidia is outsourcing them, right, wouldn't it be more better to go AMD since they have a better price profit?
Yeah, well then what do you do about the original Switch that only launched March 2017 with the compatibility? You create more problems, don't you? More problems.
That would be too, but I would take a gamble of trying to get a more
No,
affordable.
they've got an Nvidia deal for the next 10 years, my friend. I'm afraid the contract lasts for 10 years. 10 years. But listen, the Switch is a very capable unit. I've got nothing just really terrible to say about it, actually. So
Yeah, I think
I like the concept of the Switch.
Nobody understands that they're making their devices based on what the first party developers want. And if the third party wants to develop for it, it's fine. Here it is. But there's this notion that everything has to be made based on what third party developers want. And nobody in their right mind should do that. There's a console out right now that went for what third party developers want called Xbox X, and it didn't sell well. So,
Yeah, it's not doing that well in
I
terms
mean,
of sales.
it's a tag team effort, to be honest. You need both at the end of the day.
it's just like
and are AMD prominent in the mobile space? Are they? They don't strike me.
No.
As
They
being a big player in that space.
No.
they never even touch mobile gaming at all. It's always been
Yeah,
Nvidia.
well then Nintendo's gonna have a hard time getting technology from them then.
Yeah.
But I do know for a fact that they do make some pretty good GPUs and CPUs. So in conjunction, you might be able to run a 2.3 gigahertz CPU alongside with a low grade RX 480, 580.
Yeah, they could do that. They could do that with Switch 2. Why change the chip manufacturer and cause problems when you can get the same power performance exactly with the manufacturer you're with? What's the point in changing at this stage?
Right.
Too early. You're basically asking, well, not asking Nintendo, but you're basically hypothesizing that Nintendo, just tears up all of the research and development they put their money into with Nvidia and the billions of dollars that have been spent already, and just screw that. Let's go to AMD and start all over again. Never mind the compatibility issues between your launch Switch and this new iteration of Switch. Never mind, screw those people. Who cares about that 30 million by now probably who bought a Switch? Screw them. Let's screw over Nvidia and let's just go to AMD because that's the popular thing to do. Well,
But you know what's so funny? But
But
you know what's so funny though, Foxy? You could play Nvidia-based games on AMD as well, so it's really not much of a limitation. It's more of a software programming limitation.
I'm not going to pretend I'm a software engineer or computer engineer, but if Sony has trouble with PS2 games even running properly on a PS4, I don't know what Nintendo's going to do with completely new architecture in keeping compatibility a non-issue. I just can't see it happening. I can't see it happening. There's going to be issues, big problems.
Very true. Very true. And well, maybe they found the answer in the whole streaming thing. Remember, they're doing streaming as well too. So yeah, streaming seems to be on the back burner of everybody's future, and a lot of people are kind of just.
I think Nintendo were wise to go with Nvidia because let's be honest, the Tegra chip wasn't doing a hell of a lot of a big splash in the industry. It did have its little Tegra 2, 3, and 4 run, but after that, they got overtaken by other companies doing bigger and better things with mobile technology. So Tegra was a dying. It was a dying, if you like, if I can say format. It was a dying format anyway. So Nintendo kind of saved Tegra, if you look at it that way, because they've come in with and given this huge injection, billions of dollars to Nvidia, and kept this chip alive. Tegra is alive again because then the Shield, let's be honest, it's not a mass market product. Yes, there's millions of people that own it, but how many people's homes have you gone to? Oh, look, there's a Shield, I must jump on it. No, I don't see it in anyone's house. I know, and I know a lot of people. In fact, I've not even seen one in a store. How about that? Maybe I've just been oblivious to it because it's not in my view of perception. Maybe because it's not on my mind. I don't see it, but I don't even see even in our local CES, which is this sort of pre-owned, buy things pre-owned like hardware and everything, PC parts, everything's in there. Games, I don't even see it in there. And I think the people who bought it are too ashamed to even admit it, so therefore they're stuck with it and they won't even sell it on Craigslist because
I saw a sale on Amazon for a couple of Nvidia Shield consoles. They were not that. I mean, they were like around in the mid $150s to $170, so it wasn't that bad. But I see where your perspective is at with the controller
for Mass Effect on PC.
I mean, but I guess the point I'm making is when you see these game trailers, why don't we see PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nvidia Shield? There's a reason. There's a good reason why it's not listed on these games that are coming out, and there's a good reason why Nintendo Switch is. Even though it's using the same damn technology, because Nintendo is a mass market company and Nvidia Shield is for hobbyists, people who like to have devices and tech, but it's not necessarily gravitated to the common folk. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm saying that in the most.
No. I understand. I understand perfectly well.
That's a little discussion here. Definitely, nice little discussion here. Back to what I was saying, Craig, you don't need you can get a controller for your PC that works.
I've got one. I bought one today. I'm excited.
Oh man.
You don't have to buy the Steam controller, you can buy a 360.
You can buy whatever you want.
Yeah.
Craig, anytime you have problems with your PC, bro, hit me up, bro.
Hit him up.
It worked. I plugged it right in and it started working like it should. Not none of this bullshit. Go here, download this, put this file there. Fam.
No, so, never take advice from Mitch when it comes to PC.
How dare you?
You told me to put my RAM sticks together. They're supposed to be separated.
Oh, sir, that was a joke.
Oh my God, you guys are hilarious.
From the verge, mister.
Yeah, even I put my RAM sticks apart there. I didn't know I was supposed to. I just did it.
Yeah,
space to breathe.
All right, let's move on here. EA cancels open world Star Wars game.
Regrettable.
Incredible, ain't it?
Yeah,
Michael Pachter could have predicted this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't there another one? Is Respawn still making there? Or is that the one that got canceled?
I think that's the one that Amy wasn't Amy Hennig working on this one or something like that. She was helping.
Yeah, she was doing the
Oh.
storyline for it.
Yeah, this one.
Dare I say, Disney should cancel E EA.
Yeah.
Well, Disney's already is already in some bad standing with me right now after what happened recently. But ironically, the community spoke and it got overturned. Not to Harry Heck for this super chat.
Nice.
Nvidia and Nintendo overpriced cards and Labo equals great. That's what he said.
Oh my god.
He paid to say that.
Yeah, he said that.
Wow.
Moving on. When it comes to Disney is already in a bad standing with me right now because what they did was now obviously they clearly don't care about the Star Wars license. If they cared about the Star Wars license, they would be on EA completely to make sure they dropped a quality game. It only seemed like they actually bat an eyelash towards EA with Battlefront 2. And with Battlefront 2, remember they got a lot of flack for it because they tried to build the entire multiplayer upon you buying microtransactions to basically level up your characters and level up. So they got angry over that because obviously, number one, the projected income that they were going to make wasn't going to happen. And number two, the way they handled the actual situation in terms of quality control was another one that made them angry. But they went an extra low. They actually went after a YouTuber and his fan film. And
That's not true.
No, they took his fan film away from him. They took it down. They actually monetized it and put on.
Again, that's not true. It's
true.
It's reported. That guy is Star Wars Theory, and all they did was, and it wasn't Disney who flagged him, it was the music company.
I'm getting to that. I'm saying no, that's all they all work in conjunction. Warner, what was it? I forgot the name. It was Water something. That's with Disney when it comes to Star Wars and this one. That's all of them. Okay. What he used was he hired a composer for that movie. A new composer to make him a specialized theme for a few sections in the actual movie. And they basically flagged him for that and took that particular thing and said that this is what we're going to do. We're going to claim this. We're going to make money off of this. And then, if you try to appeal it, you will indeed get flagged and we might actually take your channel down. So Star Wars Theory went and actually hit up Lucasfilms. Lucasfilms actually gave Disney an L. And Disney returned the rights back to Star Wars Theory. That's the update on the whole situation. But it just goes to show corporate greed is in a nutshell. They spend more time trying to take away from the community and not giving you a proper game. But, hey, let's definitely get behind EA and support a bunch of, nickel and dime practices to get more money out of you as opposed to giving you a quality Star Wars game. You know what's crazy about Star Wars? Y'all know that game, the For Honor?
For Honor? Yeah,
I know For Honor. I know everybody knows For Honor. Could you guys imagine For Honor with Star Wars like combat?
No, that would be horrible.
No, I'm talking with like the way the actual sword combat would be. That would be very, very, very horrible, bro.
What? Ryan, that backfired, didn't it?
He said, obviously it did. Obviously, he thought that's horrible. Like, wait, what? I don't think you.
I agree with him. That's ghastly.
I don't think it would be good either.
You don't think that? So y'all have the same traditional combat. Well, that's not even combat to me with Battlefront, though, where you're just running around swinging the lightsaber like you just hate each other.
No, because the thing is with a lightsaber and the usage of the Force, it's two different things. For Honor, it brings in real time.
Too much
battle
physics.
Based. Yeah, battle based.
More like more up and personal type of thing. Like, I'm saying, like where you actually, are using, strategies to try to get these fools with these combos and hit them. with the lightsaber.
All right, now that would be a little bit different. Like if you want to incorporate a combo system, yes, that would be actually a little bit more helpful.
But I'm not sure. I'm not sure the combat system is the problem here. It's the lack of content, the lack of single player substance. There's more. There's more to worry about than the combat. I mean, I was not unimpressed with Battlefront 1 and 2's combat. What I was unimpressed with was the go nowhere story.
Yeah, pretty much.
The levels by numbers, the shooting gallery. It's just a shooting gallery. They put you in a space. Shoot this, shoot that. Go here, go there. Here's a cutscene. Do it again. There's a cutscene. Do it again. There's a game over. 4 hours, ladies and gentlemen.
It was more. It was more. This game. I mean, even the series itself, like it felt like a filler game. It wasn't really the full on.
They look like demos.
Star Wars.
It played Star Wars games into fantastic demos.
It played just like the Hitman series that just recently came out. That's how it felt like when I played the game. I love it. I love the way the game looks, the way it plays, but it needed better narration and it needed more solid missions in order to be more complete.
Naughty Dog would make a fantastic Star Wars game.
Hell yeah!
Wasn't they supposed to be making some kind of space game anyway? That was like the rumored one back when
Savage Starlight.
Yeah, there you go. That's what it was.
Yeah,
Endure and Survive, because they kept bringing that up. And
I can't say any more than the name of the game.
No,
listen, man. All we need to know is this: EA, Disney, wake up, Naughty Dog, hello, and let's see what will follow.
Okay. All right. Anybody else got anything y'all want to add to that?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think the best Star Wars games I played, believe it or not, in terms of scope, not fun but scope, were probably on the GameCube.
Which ones?
Rogue Squadron 1 and 2.
Oh, you bringing it back. My personal favorite was on the Nintendo 64.
The graphics weren't ready for me.
No, the graphics.
I think they finally nailed the effects with the GameCube. I see what you mean, though. For its time, it was fantastic. Yeah,
it was, and not only just because of the graphics. For me, it was more how the experience. You felt like you were playing as Luke Skywalker. You felt like you was playing at each indicative, stage.
I would wager you'd have a different opinion if you return to that game today, sir.
Oh no, today
it hasn't aged well. Hasn't aged well.
It'll look choppy. I know. Believe me. Trust me.
The GameCube ones still look good. That's what I'm saying. The GameCube ones still look phenomenal.
I got a question for you guys. What do you think about Insomniac making a Star Wars game since they did Ratchet and Clank and they actually space stuff?
Yeah, they'd be good as well and they already have a relationship with Disney because they worked on Spider-Man. That would
wouldn't be bad.
That would work. I think it would be great.
Yeah.
You know what? They could, because they've already done sci-fi. They've done the Resistance series. They've done Resistance, so they're fully capable with a sci-fi world. And they're great. They're good with their mechanics. Good storytelling. If you enjoyed Spider-Man, which I did. And they have a relationship with Disney already because they obviously work through Marvel. I think it's a good idea. Yeah, Nancy.
That's what I'm saying. I think they need to look outside the box, and somebody needs to do something right. Seriously.
I think they're both trying to avoid a lawsuit because EA will say they've done nothing terribly wrong, and Disney will say, "Well, the people hate you," and that's not really legal grounds to dissolve a contract. I'm afraid people's emotions have nothing to do with the law.
Right.
Yeah, they made Star Wars Battlefront 2. The campaign was really good. They made money. They didn't make the money that they thought they were going to make, but the game made them money. But it just wasn't what they thought.
I think what happened was what they were capitalizing on the fan base to ooh and goo the whole situation, and mindlessly just spend their money away. But come on now, if you're a true Star Wars fan, you know the lore, you know the story. These two iterations of the Star Wars legacy, it fell short. It
Here's
felt
the
really
thing,
short.
though. A casual will buy into this stuff, like just like a hardcore fan will definitely buy into it if the game was done proper and it offers you so much. You
Well,
know,
that's just it. After Return of the Jedi, nobody knows what the story was. But now we have the interconnection on what happened in that 20 plus years after Jedi. So how they the Imperial fleet down and how there was a huge battle on Jakku, and we now know the battle of Jakku was giant. It wasn't some skirmish; it was a giant space battle. So now we have our connection to that planet.
Don't you wish, Craig? Don't you wish the preceding Star Wars movies after the originals? Don't you wish they didn't happen? You know, the ones with with Natalie Portman and the other fellow.
Oh, the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
Phantom Menace.
Oh yeah. Don't you just wish they didn't happen?
No,
They were awful.
okay. Those are okay. I mean, I didn't.
No, they were
to make.
They were awful. They were poorly acted. There was no emotion. All the actors were capable of acting, but
you know how they end. So it's hard. And Lucas said, I remember this in TV.
No. I'm not the story. Not the story. I'm talking about the delivery. The acting was poor. Acting was poor. Everybody is capable of acting because I've seen their other movies, but in Star Wars, I think they were directed poorly because their acting was very stilted, wooden. It was almost as if they were reading the lines off of each other's foreheads.
Yeah. What's crazy about that entire prequel, like y'all know how bad the CGI looked in the first one, like going up. Like the CGI was like the only thing that improved. I will say Revenge of the Sith was the better one though out of the three.
Yeah,
that one wasn't terrible.
Yeah, that one was the better one out of the three.
Yeah. But you saw the beginning, you now know where they get all their stormtroopers from. All that was solved, and Lucas said that these first three movies are going to be 80% story and 20% action. The problem was that people didn't believe.
I enjoyed. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed all the special effects, the CGI. The production value was incredible. Best CGI for the time. Loved it. But I'm talking about the actors just didn't seem engaging to me. It felt like they were just going through the motions.
Yeah, I agree with that. They were just going through the motions.
It was almost as if they didn't enjoy being there. I could feel a disconnect from the Star Wars universe to the people who were playing the characters. I didn't bond with anyone. I didn't care about anyone. I just wanted to see the next set piece, the next cut. It's almost turned into a video game for me.
They did a better job with the
some of the romantic like scenes they were trying to set up were kind of shot weird. Like for example,
I guarantee you, I was watching it like it was a trailer for a new video game.
Yeah, like he was on the balcony with Padme. He was like, "Wow, Padme, you look beautiful," and she was like, "Maybe because I'm just madly in love." I'm like, "Huh?"
Again, those are the hardest movies to make. Is the ones you already know what's going to happen. That's why Rogue One was such a shock. They stole the plans to the Death Star. They blow it up, but you still were on the edge of your seat. Like, how did they pull this off? I mean, so they came back and did a much better job of Rogue One than the prequels. But everything was new then. The digital stuff was still fairly new. Again, no Jar Jar Binks.
My favorite Star Wars movie of all time, my favorite Star Wars movie will be and forever will be The Empire Strikes Back. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I like that, and I liked Episode 7. But remember, no Jar Jar Binks. And what's that thing from Lord of the Rings?
Jar Jar Binks didn't annoy me for some reason. He annoyed everybody else.
Y'all like that, but my favorite is Return of the Jedi.
Well, yeah, but this is how good the Jedi. The Spiegel thing from Lord of the Rings. No Jar Jar Binks, no Spiegel, no Andy Serkis, no digital acting that we have today. So it's that those movies served a much larger purpose. I agree. It can be considered media.
I don't even watch the remakes of the originals where they done CGI for the stuff. Yeah. I don't even like watching those. I like the original releases. Right. Where Jabba the Hutt is actually just a man. He's not even a beast. It's a man. Right. They added Jabba the Hutt in those games later. Not the games, in the movies later with CGI effects. The original Star Wars, when Han Solo walked around, talking to Jabba the Hutt, right, and he walks around him, right. In the remakes, you can clearly see this frame skip when he goes behind him because they had to stick a CGI character in there was not there was no green screen back then, to implement this character into the original shot. So you could see actually where they replace the man with Jabba the Hutt. Do you know what I'm saying? When he's waiting outside his Falcon or something. I can't remember the scene, but he's talking to Jabba the Hutt.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched the originals. I like the originals. I don't care for the tarted up CGI versions. I just don't care for them.
Yeah, I understand.
It's just, man, like a Star Wars.
Jar Jar Banks was high though, clearly on the reefer, because that thing didn't stop talking, and it sounded like a Bob Marley gurgling underwater.
Oh my God.
Yo, y'all crack me up, man. But overall, this is something that has to be implemented into the series. It's just a little bit of more originality, better focus.
Sorry, I got to interject right there. There was nothing original about Snoke. They literally killed him off in 5 seconds.
Oh yeah, no. But I'm talking in literally for the games, like what I would like to see being implemented as per se for everything that we've been talking about. I just see that whoever takes the mantle of the game series, they have a lot to do with it. They have a lot to live up to. And quite frankly, it should be simplified, not overdone, and just make it as good as possible so that the person or the fans can actually enjoy it.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah, well, again, man. Yeah. Well, again, that's subjective. The Star Wars Battlefront 2's campaign was fine. So as a fan, as a big fan, I was like, good. Now we know what happened in that 20-25 year window. It's solved. So
Battlefront 2, the campaign?
The campaign here for Battlefront 2.
It seemed a little, I don't know, rushed to me because, like, remember, she's the main character. Obviously, she's on, or what was she? She's on the Imperial side, right, going against the the rebels.
Yeah.
Like 2 chapters later, she's a rebel, and she's
you see why they attacked her home planet. So she's like,
yeah, true, but I mean, not even Princess Leia would be like that forgiving, especially after this woman killed like a lot of her fleet.
Yeah, well, I understand you had the turn and everything, but she turned on them because they attacked her home planet. But now you may have the thing, she could be Rey's mom. She may not be. The thing is that they were narrowing things down, for the people who are fans of the series. So, but I get what people are saying. Yeah, it could have been a better game. Yeah, it probably could have been. Probably could have. But it was a good Star Wars game. And like I said, that was the problem that with Spider-Man. Not only did they have to make a good video game, they had to make a good Spider-Man video game. And that was
no pressure.
So.
That's true. All right. Well, let's get back to the other topics here. Let's start with Hideo Kojima. So Hideo Kojima showed off 2 hours worth of gameplay to Guerrilla Games, and they were insanely impressed, talking very highly of it. They liked what they saw. Now, also, Kojima is also helping them with their Decima engine. He's upgrading it for them as well, or he actually did upgrade it for them. So he's helping them out with the studio. So that makes you wonder if he's also helping out any other studios with Sony and maybe tinkering a few things with their respective engines. What was funny about this too, and when you entered Death Stranding, a few things actually come up. One particular thing came up was his name is what was his name? Mads McKillen. I think that's his name. How you spell it?
Mads Nicholson.
Or Mag Nicholson?
Yeah.
He basically stated that he cannot say a word about Death Stranding, otherwise some Japanese individuals will come to his house and pay him a visit, which is funny as shit. He said on his comment, but it's interesting. A lot of details going around for this game. A lot. Ironically, we still don't know much. We still are pretty much going off of the same early, videos that we saw prior. We, especially with Troy Baker talking about the game releasing in 2019 this year. So, it's still up in the air. It's still like we don't know much. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot to go on. What y'all think?
Well, that jives with what Sony studios have always said, is that if they have some type of breakthrough, they share it. They did this with the Spider-Verse animated movie that they had to invent new technologies, to get that type of animation. Now they can share that animation amongst their first party developers and possibly use it and see it in a video game. Not soon, but maybe in 3 to 4 years, you may see some of that technique going forward. But yeah, Kojima say he was blown away by Decima when they gave him
the engine and the possibilities. Yeah.
So it sounds like he's done something to it that Guerrilla probably may not have thought was possible. Or
he was offered every engine, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't he? Offered every engine from every studio, and then
pretty much, yeah.
That shows that one specifically.
Yeah, that was interesting that he just went straight to Decima. You would think he would go with Naughty Dogs or something. Nah, he went with Decima. So
yeah, and Naughty Dog may use Decima. Who knows? I mean, you just don't know.
It's done right.
You go get it. So
yep. Nancy, what you think about this? She's over there quiet.
No, I'm sorry. I stepped away. What were you talking about? I had to step away for a minute.
I know. We were just talking about Death Stranding and a few things that was going on about it. Basically, Kojima showed off 2 hours worth of gameplay to Guerrilla Games, and they were blown away by it. And, they were saying that it's great. And he's also helping them with their new engine as well. So what do you think about that?
Well, as long as they get it right, I don't, that's all I can say when it comes to any game, though. I mean, if they're going to show it off to Guerrilla and they thought it was a good idea, they thought it was great, let us see it, though. Let us see what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't care who else they show it off to. I want to see what's going on when it comes to the game. I want to know what's happening. I mean, I'm glad somebody else thinks that they're doing good, but that doesn't help me out any.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Basically,
Okay. That's what you think.
I mean, of course they were blown away, bro. It's Kojima. Come on now. This game's gonna be lit. Even though I'm not hyped for it yet, really, because I mean, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, sure. That's the common thing everybody has. They don't know what it is. They don't know.
It could be some puzzle game, bro, but it's gonna be awesome because, like I said, Kojima, bro.
Mm-hmm. Very
You
true.
gotta hope it is.
Oh, it's gonna be good. Come on.
Whatever. I just hope they don't go that Metal Gear Solid Guns of the Patriots route where it has
where it's all movies.
Like Metal Gear. No, it's going to be nothing like Metal Gear.
I would not want a 45-minute cutscene.
What was the Gun of the Patriot? What was that?
Guns of the Patriots was meant to tie everything up and end it, but they never ended it.
Oh, they just never ended it. Oh.
Yeah, they basically tied everything up. They gave everybody.
No, it's over.
Yeah, it was over with that.
Look, there's a few theories about Death Stranding. I mean, I covered this extensively in a video that I've got up on the channel. Go check it out if you want to. But it's pretty much going to be, to my understanding, and I know it's pretty unintelligible to a lot of people, what's going on in the game. Obviously, that's the whole area of mystery that Kojima is trying to put out there at the moment. And it's going to make the game even more of a shock and a surprise because nothing really has been spoiled. How many times have we been spoiled and know about certain games before we had the pleasure of playing them, ladies and gentlemen? Isn't it a disaster that you get to play the whole level of a game, see it demoed at some boring stage show, at some event, and then when you get the game, you're playing through the exact same level that you've already seen and you wish you hadn't? And you feel robbed of the level and the $60 that you just spent. Right. So I think it's a good thing that you don't know much about it. And if you judge the man on his track record, then you have to agree that whatever the man touches turns to gold. But here's the thing. The theory is that the characters in the game are going to be aware that we're controlling things as the player. Do you understand what I'm saying? He's making the characters so self-aware of what's going on in the game as well that the characters are going to know that the player, you, I, anybody who's playing the game, they're going to be aware that there's something going on. They're not going to know it's us. It's like when miserable things happen or wonderful things happen, people often, give God credit, right? So in this character's world, those characters, we're like God. Do you understand? To those characters, they don't understand us, but they know we're there. Not like the real, not like God, because we don't know it's there. But I'm talking about in the game, in a fictitious world, okay? These characters are aware that we are there. And the handprints in the mud, those shadow people, I've got a strange feeling that we are somehow tied into those creatures. as the gamer, as the player of the game, and it affects the characters.
Ball breaking.
I think it has something to do with the babies for sure.
Yeah, the baby is probably the rebirth of life because it's a barren waste. Whatever it is, whatever the Death Stranding is, this ethereal, evil, malevolent dimension, okay, of whatever is supernatural things are, right, is obviously devouring the earth. It's making the earth and putting the earth in an apocalyptic state. So therefore, if you follow the trailers, you hear dialogue saying, when you return here, it's going to be a crater. In other words, all vegetation and life, water, everything you know that sustains life is going to be gone. So I think those creature things are there to devour whatever planet they're on, if it's Earth or whatever it is in the future. They're there to devour, and we are somehow intertwined in this misfortune, and yet we have to save the game. We have to become victorious.
Contest to the first trailer that we saw, the actual the reveal trailer. Remember when they showed him on the island and like you saw them floating in the air? That would add a little contest to that, especially when the world was upside down and there was water everywhere, and then pretty much everybody was basically drowned in a sense.
Right. Let me conclude with this. I'll end with this. I think we're gonna whoever plays this game, Death Stranding, and just because it's created by Kojima, a genius in the industry at the moment, okay, just because you know of his track record. He's had, nobody's perfect, but the man's damn near perfection when it comes to what he does in the popular media. Okay. Whoever plays this game is going to be so invested in every character that has that's main in the plot. Every character that I think some people are going to be emotionally affected by this game. I think it's going to affect you like Avatar. Like Avatar. Some people had a sense of empathy for the creatures in Avatar, the movie, and some people actually wanted to exist in that world, and they cried in those movie theaters.
Yeah,
it was a phenomenon, and it was all over the news. Okay, all over the world, people had these strange emotional attachments to the world of Avatar, and I think you're gonna on a deeper level, because it's more interactive than just watching a movie. Somehow, I think you're gonna be so captivated. That's why they call it entertainment, ladies and gentlemen. Entertainment. It's to sort of capture you, captivate you, enter you, and make you put your full focus subconsciously, consciously on that one thing. That's entertainment, ladies and gentlemen. And Death Stranding is certainly going to be entertaining.
There you go.
It certainly looks interesting. I don't know.
I wanted to walk this simulator like 9 minutes ago.
Cold vein, but we're gonna find out.
You just called it a walking simulator, though.
Well, you know,
it's like a UPS delivery guy simulator.
I can see why you make that type of indictment, but the problem is all you've seen is a guy carrying a backpack with a human stuck on the back of it, wrapped up in foil. I don't think somehow you're just going to be trawling through a wasteland from A to Z until you get to the end of the game. I think there's going to be parts where that's pivotal, obviously, because how do you explore this world if you're not walking in it? And I don't think you're meant to obviously rush through the game either, because although the character has the ability to run and climb and traverse through water and all types of environmental effects, I don't think the game's meant to be rushed. I think you would do the game a disservice if you attempted to speed run through it.
Yeah, I agree. But what if it has a VR mode?
Not all his games, though. Not all his games can speed run through. Like, you can't really legit speed run through, let's say, Metal Gear Solid Guns of the Patriots. You can't do something like that.
Well, you can if you played it before.
I mean, you can. You
know everything is.
But there's like limitations. Because remember the cutscenes and all
you
that?
can do it. No, you can skip cutscenes. You can skip cutscenes.
You can skip most of them, but it's like,
Yeah.
And if you've played it and finished it, then the next play is going to be much quicker. So therefore, it becomes a speed run your second time through because there's no more time wasting. You know exactly what your objectives are, exactly where you're going next. You've seen that place. You've been here. You've been there, done that, worn the T-shirt. You've taken a number 2 as someone wanted to do before the podcast started. You've done plenty of things.
About 5 seconds ago, I was like, oh.
All right.
How did that go, by the way? How did the number 2? How did the eruption of the anus go? How did that volcanic eruption of your anus go?
Yo, no, man.
Oh, that's crazy, fam.
Was it a prickety plonk or a gush?
Oh, shit.
I don't know what that means, but both probably.
No, all it means is no.
Oh, man. Hey, yo, so about
No.
gaming, man.
Wait. I was just being poetic. I was just, listen, if people don't understand in the chat, if they think there's some gay type stuff going on, you'd be wrong. I am just poetically describing one taking a shit.
Oh my god, man.
Move on, you crazy. All right, Sony was what was it? Fined $2 million by Italian antitrust for unfair business practice related to the sale of the PlayStation 4 consoles. According to this, they found Article 21, Clause 1B and D specifically, and Article 22 of the Consumer Code had been violated. What you guys got to say about this?
Sorry, David. What were we on? Sorry, I was too busy.
Oh, it was about them being sued.
I was too busy stuck on my own humor there. Sorry.
No. You stop. But they were basically they were fined $2 million by Italian.
Oh yeah, Italian. The mafia fined them. Yeah, move on.
Yeah. Yo, the mafia.
Hitman 3.
I mean, let's be serious. When you buy a product, you're supposed to read in the fine print for said services, for said features, and for said things that will be utilized when you're using the product, right? Not saying that these people are, figuratively speaking, illiterate, but before you buy something, you do your research before even handing in your money.
Facts.
That's common sense. I'm not trying to.
I don't agree though. I don't agree with that because what if you are an ignorant being who is a parent?
Oh no.
What if you're buying a gift for somebody else and you have actually no clue about video games and you go to that terribly informed GameStop employee and you take their foolish advice? You know how it goes. You know when you don't know nothing, you ask questions in the store and they always misguide you.
See, you use the worst example. I always have bad experience with GameStop employees.
Yeah, we don't over here in the States, Foxy, we don't even touch GameStop. GameStop is like it's like having cooties, man.
I don't know if you remember that tweet, but I have not recovered from that damn that dreaded day when I went to GameStop. I was like, sir, can I pre-order the collector's edition for Spider-Man? You know what he said, Foxy?
What did he say? What platform?
Yeah. So which system?
I don't know.
I immediately
sounds like something that a hapless store attendant would say.
I mean, at the end of the day, it should be something that's easy for a person to understand. No. You're
talking from the point of view as somebody who is a seasoned gamer. There are people who are buying. Do you know how many millions of purchases are made for someone else when buying a console? It's not for the person who's buying it. Pretty much like you'd order a coffin. It's not for you. It's for somebody else.
That is understandable, but it's just the same way as purchasing a used vehicle. You gotta inspect the vehicle. You gotta make sure that it's mechanically.
It's not the same. It's not the same because you're talking about moving parts with a vehicle. It's due diligence when you buy a vehicle, so you don't pick up a lemon. But we're talking about a games console, which you can happily bring back with no questions asked within a 90-day period, I believe, in the United States. And probably you could bring it back if there's a fault within a year in the UK. But I am talking, I have to look at this with no rose-tinted glasses on because I am a seasoned gamer, so it's easy for me to fall into the trap of, well, I know, so everybody should know. There are people who take the advice of retailers.
Yep, that's very true.
That's their research. They go and ask the person serving them. Oh, excuse me, what about this console? Blah, blah, blah. Do you think that person's being on commission? You think they're going to give you the advice that's best suited for you or best suited for them?
No, to the credit.
That's why people need to be smart. They need to be smart. They need to stop taking other people's advice and go by what you know. Do your own research. I would not go to retail and say, okay, well, what's the best this for me, or what's the best. No, you should know what you want when you get there, or have an idea of what you want.
Well, when I was younger, had consoles
Mm-hmm.
been connected to the internet and we'd been in the same circumstances we have now, where you have to pay to access the online portion of multiplayer, had that occurred when I was a nipper, and I pleaded with my mother, please buy me the latest console, please buy it for me. My mother, being the wonderful person she is, would probably have of acquiesced to my demands and gone and got that, but she wouldn't have asked, oh, do I have to pay online? Or she wouldn't have done any research, because she's just taking my desire, and she knows what it's called, and I've described it to her. I've showed her a picture of it in the catalog or magazine or whatever, and she's gone to that store to pick it up. She's not going to ask, oh, but are there any hidden charges that I should know about? Because it's a games console. As far as she knows, you just plug it into the wall, not into your phone line.
Okay, now
It's only when she gets the bill she
no.
realizes, hold on, the box did not tell me I had to pay with my credit card. Do you understand what I'm saying? For my son to download this portion of the game that he can't play because most of it's online.
Okay, now this is where my whole concept of the situation is at, right? I'm reading something right now. It's in Italy, you must return the original unused, product in unused condition, unless if there's a manufacturer defect. You must return it within 30 days of your purchase. Now,
Well, I don't live in Italy, so that means nothing to me.
no. I'm just going by with what I'm reading. What I'm reading, right? Some items cannot return if they're open. These includes music, software, and video games. Merchandise that have been worn, used, or altered will not be accepted for return and exchange. Okay, yada yada yada. Now, the key word here is a defect, right? My whole thing is, right, if you're making a return for something that you're clearly paying for, right?
Oh, but before you make this point, you do realize, Carlos, you're using a country that neither one of us lives in to make your point. You do realize that, don't you? Because
No,
the laws are very different where I live.
I know.
We can't use Italy's return policies to somehow justify this argument that we're having. We can't do that because I don't live in Italy. You don't live in Italy. Does anyone here live in Italy on this panel?
Yeah, I live in Italy in my dreams.
You must live in you must live in Little Italy, New York, but you don't live in.
But my thing is, right, if you're buying something, my whole point is, where is the defect in those statements? What led to them being sued if there is no defect within the system itself? That's where my whole point is at. What was the defect or the default problem for you not to read? Because I'm pretty sure when you open up a package, even if it's in Taiwanese, Bangladesh, Afghan, whatever country that you come from, you gotta read at least one or two words. It doesn't really matter how illiterate you are. You have to have some kind of comprehension, because even the most illiterate person can still understand signs and languages regardless. So my whole thing is where was the emphasis of saying, okay, did you read the fine print before purchasing the item, or at least made the effort to read the services before you use them? That's where my whole point is at.
Whoever this guy is can officially step off.
No. If you're talking about Nick Ayers, don't, because I'm answering him. Because I wish to tackle him with intelligence and not be a brutish primitive like he's being.
Okay. Ignorance just comes there and being ignorant.
No, leave him. He's entitled to that opinion. And this is America after all, isn't it? Where he is. I assume he's in America, not in
Foxy. I don't even condone that bullshit. I don't even condone it. So Nickers, blood.
No, don't leave the guy, man. You can't censor everybody. I only block people who are being obscene or disrespectful. I don't find what he's saying disrespectful.
Yeah.
He's giving his point. He's got a very skewed idea of what Brits are, all my life experiences. He has no clue that I lived in America for 8 years. Miami, as I've told everybody many times, Fort Myers. I've lived in Anaheim in California. So, Orange County. So he doesn't know my life. I've lived there for 8 years. He doesn't even know I've got dual citizenship. I'm British citizen and a US citizen. But he doesn't know that because, he's got a very narrow viewpoint. But he's allowed to have a very narrow viewpoint. That's democracy, people.
He called him a clever dickhead. That's fucked.
I mean, it is what it is. But people, this is the emphasis. You have to read whatever language you use to comprehend anything. You have to read in the fine print. It doesn't matter whether you're British, American, Japanese, Afghan, wherever you come from. You have to read the fine print before you purchase any item. With that being said, Nick Urs, please, if you may, just leave it alone.
You're giving him far too much attention. He's like yesterday's newspaper to me.
Somebody just wants attention. Nobody said anything about blocking you, but whatever.
I mean, if you
want that attention,
if he insults my mother, then you can crucify him. But until then, let's
man, don't just let him be. But if he wants that old God tier, get that ass banned, then hey, keep on playing.
Go low tier guy. Oh Lord, let's go ahead. Let's get to these last two topics. Y'all ready? Let's go ahead. So, Bruce Straley, the game director of The Last of Us Part 2 and Uncharted 4, he stated, or actually, no, I'm sorry, not even The Last of Us 2. He's Last of Us 1. Sorry. He basically criticized Red Dead Redemption 2 for the lack of player freedom in the actual game. Now, Red Dead Redemption 2 does have cutscenes, but they do it in a format where you can actually still move and like the audio and whatnot still plays. But there are also other scenes where it's like it plays in a cinematic as you're still going and you can't really do much. He basically criticized the game for that and saying that hold on. He said he tried to flank in a mission. And like so many Red Dead Redemption 2 stories, they need to do what the story requires and continue to remove my choice. Okay, so basically saying that the game locked him to a certain thing and he couldn't really do much in terms of like gameplay when he's in the little cutscene.
I mean, that's the design of the game. Like pretty much, you can't really.
It's more of a it's one of those games, especially when you see the little black bars, like a movie, like a cinematic. They do that to try to stay true to the cowboy. Set.
You think so? I think they do it to save on processing because
you think so?
They only have to render a portion of the screen. Look, all that them black bars add up to a lot of real estate. If you stick them together, that's like a quarter of the screen. Okay, So they're saving on performance costs by doing that. They can add more graphics because they don't have to worry. In those black borders, nothing's being rendered. It's just like the Order 1886. There's nothing being rendered in the bars. So they can make the game look even more impressive in cutscenes, which is I don't mind. Doesn't kill me.
I mean, if you enjoy the game to its flaws, to its positives and negatives, that's all that should matter to the experience of the player. Now, people have different concepts and opinions about what they want to see in a video game. That could have been the better way of making that statement instead of just trying to bash the game for that shortcoming. Now, for my thing, The Last of Us is a great game. That is a perfect game. It is not. It also has its little flaws that should be fixed. And therefore, you cannot make a full analogy on something such as small as that. Because don't get me wrong, I don't like Red Dead as much as the next person, but I do see that, Rockstar made the effort to giving you the cowboy experience, meaning that you're gonna be immersed in a world where you're gonna your actions as a person are gonna equate to anything, just like how it was in the Wild West. You had people that were very scared to go out in the day. You had people that were robbers. You had people that just were straight up killers.
Has anyone here completed it? Anyone here finished Red Dead Redemption 2?
I've got HDR, so
okay. Well, whoever did finish it, and I include myself in that group, they would know that it's a very emotional game. It's actually one of the most
settings
one
with
of
the
the most
music and
endearing.
do it.
It's one of the most endearing stories in a game that I've had the privilege to play. Yes, there are problems with the game. Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah. Aiming was
But,
aiming
but,
not the greatest, and
but,
certain
but
controls and whatnot. Yeah,
I
it's not
think
the.
if you play the game longer than 3 hours per
Mhm.
session, you're playing it wrong because it's one of those games there are parts in the game where there's an awful lot of traveling involved, and if you're one of these gamers that wants to play a 10-hour run or 5-hour run, you're going to become fatigued with it, and I can see how you're going to become sort of arid towards it, lose interest, because it's a slow burner in parts, but it's building up to something quite magnificent. Actually, I really enjoyed the game.
Yeah, I did too. Like, I like what they did with John, especially. Like, if you go honorable, obviously, I'm talking about Fashi with the ending. I do like what they did with John. I was complaining when I first started with it. I was like, okay,
Yeah,
why
I,
did
did- I
you
you know what?
John
I
like
got the same
this?
feeling. It goes, what? I thought I'm not going to give it away, but I thought, what?
Yeah,
I've got to go through this. No, but
you know.
then I stuck with it. I almost gave up. I thought, wow, man, I finished
Mhm.
it. This is just some extra. I thought it was actually extra, so you could clean up the map. The missions that you may not have done, the side missions.
Right.
Or not even the side missions, but the hunting missions or something
Right.
like that. Something insignificant to the game's overall and premise. Okay,
Mm.
so I nearly gave up on it, just as he's just said, Ryan, intimated. But something told me, don't, just keep going with it.
Right.
And then I realized, wow, Rockstar they really pulled a fast one on me, because I actually felt really disengaged for so much so that I actually turned it off and said, I'm not playing this for a couple of days. But one day I was going through my games. I've got so many games that I act like someone who hasn't got any games to play, because I can't make up my mind. It's like going through Netflix and spending more time looking for a movie than actually watching one. That's what I'm doing with my games these days. Okay. So I'm more surfing through my games, not even digital, I'm talking about physical as well. So something told me, just go back to it. And I did, and I stuck with it. And it wasn't really that long, to be honest, when you compare it to the game itself, that section. And so I stuck with it. And then when I got to the conclusion, I thought, wow, I want to start this whole thing again, because now I know it's going to give me. It's one of those things like you have to watch a movie twice. It's like Get Out. You can't watch Get Out once. Get Out is not a movie you watch once. Get Out is a movie you can watch once, twice, thrice, quadruple times. Because you're gonna learn something each time you rewatch that sucker. There's something you miss. There's something you miss that your subliminals didn't quite catch. You were too focused on a certain character that your peripheral vision totally missed a clue.
Yeah.
In the camera scene, right? In the movie scene, right? So that's a movie you watch over and over again. I would put God of War and Red Dead Redemption 2 in that category that you should play it again. But sadly, as much as I love Spider-Man, I don't think I can offer it that much grace. I don't think it's a game that it really, I say, you should play again to understand it more. I think you can get it really.
You pretty much get all the references.
Yeah.
Everything's so like laid out very, very well, like to the point where it's like you see it, like even if you look at it like in the camera, like or the corner of your eye, like, what's that? You still kind of like, oh wait, that's from this type of thing. You know what that is.
Yeah.
Red Dead Redemption 2, there was always something there you can find that was a little different. You didn't notice.
Listen,
Even the subtle details.
listen, you know how deep Red Dead Redemption 2 is. You could actually just get on your horse. I have my favorites, and I treat them with such respect. It's almost as if I think they're real. Honestly, I treat my horses with such dignity. People feed them regularly, clean them regularly, pat them regularly. Even beyond fully maxing them out, I'm still doing it. It's weird, but anyway. It's weird. That's how realistic the horses behave as well.
Yeah, and they actually do return that loyalty. Like when somebody tried to steal your horse, they'll kick them.
Yeah, and they react to you.
Yeah,
they react to you. When you call them, they're almost shy. It's like they know you, but they also act a bit shy. Like, am I in trouble? What are you calling me for? What did I do wrong? Like, it's like they don't almost know that you're going to ride them. It's more, what are you calling me for? I get that kind of murmur from the horse, in its own horsic language, if there is such a thing. But you could traverse that world on your horse, not particularly doing any missions, and incidental things just happen. And I'm not talking about events with characters, humans. I'm talking about with wildlife and just incidental things. That the world is so alive that you could actually. It's almost like watching you know, one of these natural you know, like David Attenborough, you know, these National Geographic type programs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's
You
almost
don't
as
know
if being
nothing
in one
about
of,
David Attenborough. Come on now.
what's that? Say that again.
I was teasing you. I said, you don't know nothing about David Attenborough.
George,
Oh, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of his work. Big fan. Follow
I
him.
know. I watch it all. I used to watch it all the time too.
I love his voice. It's so soothing. I wish to emulate him, but I just don't have the tone. It's like, do you know what I mean? But there are so many wonderful instances within the game world that it's such an accomplished world. It's so alive, and people say it's barren, but it's only barren because you're only looking ahead, but you're not looking around you. You're just looking ahead. You think it's barren. There's nothing here. It's just open fields because you're not really looking. Do you understand what I'm saying? What are you looking for? A skyscraper? A helicopter? What are you looking for?
Right. Well,
see, for me, I agree with what you were saying, Foxy, because people were saying, "Oh, yeah, does the game start a little slow?" Yeah, but the thing is, if you're just gonna have tunnel vision, then you're not gonna get the full enjoyment of that game.
Yeah, it's awful.
You gotta take it all in basically, and
you have
really,
to
like, appreciate
and take your time. You don't have to rush through the damn thing. Take your time and enjoy a game.
I agree.
I'm not, and this isn't like
I
us
can't
being
stand
like you think it's overrated.
You know
or
what?
anything.
Right. Let me just say, there's a certain. Nancy's absolutely right. She's bang on. Right.
Yeah.
I concur. There's a
No,
slight.
I was going to add a little bit to what you were saying because you know how people say it's overrated, and you know,
No, I don't think so.
It is overrated.
That's my opinion.
A lot
I
of
don't
people
think
believe it's
so.
overrated, and
No,
when we
no,
talk, like, some people take that as a defense, like we're like defending it. No, we're just
not-
saying like it's a game that you got to legit like.
You got to pay attention and focus on it.
You
And
have to immerse yourself, and because there's a sense of artistry in the game, it has such high artistic value that you can miss the little things because you're waiting for big. You're looking for big moments, but these big moments come far and few between because they want to build up to a crescendo. If the people don't understand, the people who don't get the game is because they don't understand Rockstar's intention with the game. It's not Grand Theft Auto 5. It's not instant gratification. It is not meant to be that. It is an open world, naturistic, very artistic game where you become engaged with the community within your group, your posse, if you want to call it a posse. I suppose they would have back in those days. You know, it's about survival. It's about people. It's relationships with each other. It's about tolerance. It's about racism. It's about humanity. It's about human dignity. It's about the cause of the original American. The original American, you know, the Native American, the original American before the Pilgrims came over and ruined everything. But the real Americans whose land was stolen. It's about so many things that you can miss the forest through the trees because you're looking for big moments.
Mr. What's the name had a sock account. There's a few of them.
You know,
you want attention.
I mean, nobody has to agree with everybody. If you didn't like it, you didn't like it. That's your cookie to crumble. But I'm just saying, from my perspective, I thought it was a wonderful game that I had issues with at first. But now, upon finishing the game, I understand why I had those issues. Those issues were meant to be invoked, you know, purposefully.
I got a question. Most people, once they saw the credits, I guarantee didn't just go through it and see what happened afterwards. For those people who didn't play.
You know, the game was so good. I read every name on that credit. It went on for like 20 minutes, and I looked at everybody who took part. Just that's my way of showing gratitude.
Damn.
After buying the game, of course. I mean, buying the game should have been enough gratitude. But I felt I got my money's worth to the point where I felt it was worth watching the credits.
Yep.
Plus, I was waiting for that trophy to pop.
I love the epilogue. I don't know about you. The epilogue was really, really good for the game.
Well, I had trouble with the epilogue for the
you didn't like
reason
the epilogue?
that I thought Rockstar were toying with me until I persisted with it, and then I realized it's the whole point.
Ryan, just so you know, I hid that guy because he's just coming in here trolling, getting on my nerves.
Yeah, no, I did too.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. All right. Well, let's get to the last topic, shall we? And then that's pretty much it. We got one more panel question.
Right.
All right. So Sony is emailing a new console gaming survey. Basically, it's titled "The Plan for the Future PlayStation." Now, obviously, they're taking notes and they're going to be giving this survey out. They want everybody to participate in, but this is pretty much going with the PS5 rumors, and I'm pretty damn sure these comments are going to be asking you stuff like basically the same stuff that Mark Cerny asked the third-party devs. What exactly do you want? You know what I'm saying? Like, what exactly do you need? What do you think is important to you with next generation hardware?
I know it's going to be highly emphasized by a lot of people, but they're going to want to have backwards compatibility.
Pretty much.
They didn't ask about that because that's already something they've implemented. So they won't ask you for something they're already doing.
They're gonna have different ways, yeah. They're gonna have different things because backwards compatibility go two ways.
Do you know what was telling? Do you know what was telling about the content of the email though? They
Mhm.
weren't asking anything about hardware. They were asking you about your console habits, more habitual use of the console, and how many devices you own and things like that. Because they it's probably obviously for marketing purposes. It's nothing to do with the makeup of the console because that thing is final. Let me tell you that now. It's more to do with how we're going to market this thing and the people we're going to market it to, because it may do things or it may not do things. I'm not going to spill the beans here and now. I'll say that for a video. Thank you very much. And don't forget to buy my book. Sorry for the plug. But but you know what they say. At the end of the day, Sony are obviously doing this for marketing purposes because the system does things beyond gaming. And I'm not saying it's turning into an Xbox One, not on that level. It's not going to be a media machine, but it does certain things that are not specifically dependent on gaming, and certain features. And they're obviously trying to get marketing data to see how they're going to promote this thing, because it's certainly not for the hardware, because the hardware's done. You won't ask questions about something you've already decided on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we pretty much are at that point because remember they're not doing E3 this year, and Charlene did say that they're looking for newer ways to get information to you. So, do you think in the future we will have I remember with the 360 had ads on the screen? Yeah, I think they might do stuff like
that. I don't think they'll do that.
And
I don't think they'll do that. No.
Like that, like other ways.
Sport games, I think it would be cool maybe on MLB The Show if they had a
banners, change in game.
If you hooked up online and you're playing and you get a Snickers commercial or very basic, that would be just add to the authenticity of the call, the person calling the game. But no, I don't think anything like that. I do think the PS5 is being spec to what the first party devs want, and they don't give a rat's ass. These third-party developers can come out tomorrow and say, we're going to make toilet paper. So they keep the first-party developers happy. And from what I understand, shout out to my source, Lou Wafa, if the people that are going to buy it, it sounds like they're going to get a pretty atomic device in their living room. So, or dining, wherever you're going to keep it. It's supposed to be fairly a nice machine.
Well,
what's that name again, bro?
Let there be no mistake. It is definitely going to be a game box.
Yeah.
I don't want people to think it's going to be an all-in-one media device like the Xbox One was meant to be. But no, not so.
Yeah.
There you go.
Sorry, Meds. What were you saying?
D Crazy. He said at least toilet paper is more useful than cardboard. Oh God.
Oh.
Oh my God.
If you guys enjoying the show, hit that like button. Appreciate y'all. Over 100 still here. Man, we pretty much get into the end here. Pretty much get into the after a little bit. We got a few questions here, and that's pretty much it for the show. But yeah. Now I want to throw this in here. This wasn't actually a panel question, but I wanted to throw this out here since somebody actually inspired me in the comment section. I forgot who said that. In terms of controller for next generation for PlayStation, what y'all think they're going to change? Y'all think the touchpad is going to stay? Y'all think they're going to get rid of it?
Trackpad's out of there.
Yeah, that pad is out of there as well.
Besides that, that's probably it. It's kind of pretty much perfect.
I would just think you would think they would just keep it the same, right? Exactly the same, because there's no problem with it. Like some people might say the sticks are.
I don't like the sticks where they are. That's why I like Xbox controllers better. But it is a good controller, so they might as well just keep it that way.
It will not be the same controller.
Yeah, I think the curve it because the Xbox controller was they actually brought in orthopedists to help design their controller, and your hands are not straight. The PlayStation, literally, you treat your hand like your fingers are straight, but they're curved. That's when you put an Xbox controller in your hand, it contours right to your hand. Now, you may not like it. I get it. It's got batteries. It's going to be heavier, so it's harder on your wrist. The PlayStation controller is not as hard on your wrist as the Xbox one is, but overall, they need to have more curves in it because your hand is curved.
You know, I think they need to make the next DualShock a bit bigger.
Bit bigger?
Yeah, I think it needs to be longer. I think it's where the thumbsticks are. I think my thumbs tend to touch each other too much when I'm playing on the PlayStation DualShock.
Well,
the thumbsticks are quite close together.
A point there. It was actually extremely worse than this with the PS3 controller. Yeah, I remember that. Oh my god, that
The
controller
PS3 was very, very bad.
You know how many times I've cut my own thumb with the other thumb's fingernail? Literally dug myself, because you know when you're doing something on a controller pad where it's a fast reaction, and like you know you're maybe pushing in the same direction with the thumbsticks, and then you end up sort of grazing your own thumb with your other thumb's thumbnail. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's obviously not a problem for everybody, otherwise it would be in the mass media and everyone would be talking about it. But for those people who have abnormally long thumbs like I do, I'm from another planet, you see. Thumbs are long where we come from. I wish they'd make the controller a bit longer, so my hands don't touch each other. My left and right hand should not know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? They should never be in contact with each other.
Okay.
Unless you're playing a David Cage game, we have to contort the controller in your hands to press a series of buttons in an awkward position just to let the character brush his teeth.
There you go. Yeah, well, to his credit, he actually stepped it up a bit with Detroit. No, it's not.
Yeah, I know. I'm being facetious. I love his game.
It's not as bad. I get what you're saying. It was terrible, like in terms of him like going over the top with Heavy Rain.
There were parts in some of Heavy Rain and even Beyond Two Souls where you were literally having to. It was like playing Twister with your hands. You know the game Twister, where your bodies are on top of each other in awkward positions, quite compromising positions sometimes. And woohoo, thank you, ma'am. But that's how you feel sometimes with your own hands with some of David Cage's games in the past. You're contorting your hands in such a weird way because the on-screen demand for your fingers to press so many buttons in awkward positions where it's not humanly possible to stretch a finger over there. You literally have to twist the controller around somehow and do it that way. Like that is like, I don't know what that is. It's like video gaming. I don't know for people. I don't want to be, I was going to say something quite disgusting. I won't say that actually.
Now, Slomo made a good point. Did you guys see that new controller from Astro where it's customizable? Change the format of the controller. You can change the analog sticks, all that. Kind of like an Xbox One Elite controller, the way you can change.
Is it wired? Is it wired or wireless?
It's wired. Was it wired or wireless, Slomo? I forgot. It's one of those. But
if it's wired, I could never be interested in it.
I'm sure, but no, they have something like that. But would you think that would be cool for them to do, or smart for them to have something like that? That way,
it's got to be wireless. Though I don't want to go back to the
wireless.
That's never happening.
It'll be their personal controller. I'm saying
there's been some really good controllers on the market made by third parties, but the problem is for PlayStation 4. The problem is they're wired. They're not wireless.
No, they're wireless. He said it's both for that controller I talked about.
Okay.
Yeah,
depends on
slow-mo weight in there. Yeah,
I mean, at the end of the day, this is a moot point. You can just buy one of those USB sticks that allows you to play any controller on anything.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Those Max things.
They're gonna make you go download a bunch of bullshit.
Not on
PC. PC supports virtually every gamepad that's out.
I'm telling you right now, it doesn't. I feel like Iron Man 2, when Iron Man said, I've tried every permutation, and Nick Fury said, I'm telling you, you have.
With the DualShock 4?
Huh?
With the DualShock 4?
Oh, that thing's retarded. Yeah, like I said, that's the
downloaded that PS4 Windows, right?
And a lot of the games on the market are kind of old and were already configured for 360 controllers. That's why.
That's cool.
Yeah,
the games are old.
I use a 360 controller sometimes, depending on the game, on my PlayStation 4.
Yeah, you got that Kronos.
360 controller, bro, is
No,
like
I've got an 8-bit do USB thing that allows me to play literally all the controllers.
Oh, cool.
Go. How much you pay for that?
That was like 20 British pounds, probably $25 in the US.
Good lord.
I got one for $20. I have the same exact one you're talking about. It looks like a Mario brick, right, or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's a Mario brick. Exactly
Yeah,
that.
I have
It's sort
that.
of an orangey brown color. It looks like bricks.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And you
it
stick
works
it in
like
the
that. It's awesome.
USB,
You should buy
and
that.
you can use any controller. Really, it works on any controller. I've even used the PlayStation 3 controllers on it.
Okay.
It depends on the game. Some games are suited to different controllers. Like when I'm playing a fighting game, I'd much rather use a controller with a really good D-pad. You know, even better than Switch Pro controller, which I find that D-pad. I don't know how people like the D-pad. I hate the feeling of it. The texture of it is horrible. My thumb hates it.
Mm.
It has
Yeah,
this funny. It has a funny feel to it. I don't like the feel to the D-pad controller.
Can you
I
guys
love
hear
the-
me now?
Oh yeah.
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 No,
yeah.
only because I was talking before I had to leave and come back. For some reason, I was saying, "Can you hear me? Can you hear me?" Because I was going to say something, and you guys didn't hear me.
Oh, wow.
Oh no, we didn't hear you speaking at all. I do apologize, my lady.
Yeah,
No,
good.
no, you have to apologize. No, what I was saying when you were talking about the controllers, when you bring up the controllers, when it comes to fighting games, compared to when the Xbox controller and the PlayStation controller works better than the Xbox controller, and it's more comfortable and easier to use than the Xbox one when it comes to fighting games.
Right.
Yeah, I don't use the Xbox controller for fighting. I usually use it for racing. I think it's a wonderful controller for racing and first-person shooters.
For some things it is, yeah, but not for fighting games.
No, not fighting games. No.
D-pad is not the best one. Y'all remember how terrible the original D-pad was for the Duke? Oh god.
Yeah,
I still have a Duke.
funny enough, I like the Xbox S
D-pad,
controller.
the
I used to
original.
like the Xbox S controller. You know, the one they made after the Duke.
Yeah.
I used to love that controller.
I still have one. I still have that in the original Xbox.
It's really well built. It's really well built
Oh,
controller.
the smaller one, right? Of the Duke, the one streamlined one they made. He's about
Yeah,
that one.
after the Duke, because people complained about having another. It's like you're controlling a console with a console. That's how big the controller was.
Yeah, that Duke controller was annoying as hell, man.
Oh man,
That was crazy.
Yeah, it
Dude.
was a
Like,
big
the
controller.
big gimmick for them selling it for the Xbox One again is the fact that it does the original Xbox logo, like light up thing where it powers on. But it's like, didn't they advertise that for the Xbox original with that controller when it was first being talked about?
I know, but maybe it was too expensive to implement then. But I suppose there's a factor of there's a great sense of retroism in the game space at the moment. People are loving the retro scene, and nostalgia plays a big factor as well because people have fond memories of they've had such a torrid time with the Xbox One. No wonder they keep thinking back to the earlier Xboxes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what I'm gonna do. I may end up getting an Xbox just to keep it as my retro console to play some of the older games that don't work on the PC with the pad. So
I still have my OG Xbox. It's been
cool.
It's been chipped the hell out of. I've got a big hard drive in there. All the games can be booted onto the hard drive. I've got my own wallpaper. I think it's the Incredible Hulk. I think so. I've got like 100 games on the hard drive. Everything's on there. I don't even have to load discs. All my games are on the hard drive because I chipped it many years ago.
All right.
Stuck a 500 gig hard drive in it.
This will be the last one I throw in. This is obviously Nancy going to answer this immediately. Do y'all still use, like, would you still consider using fight sticks in 2019?
Hell yeah, let's go.
I don't play fighting games. Man.
Actually, I actually prefer the controller.
I
have one. I bought one, but I'm not. It's just all right. It's just, I guess I'm just so used to the controller that I just can't get used to it. I just can't. I don't know what it is. I'm just so used to playing the fighting games on a controller that it just seems easier.
I'm the same. I don't care for steering wheels. I don't care for fight sticks. I'm just not that invested in the genre, to be honest with you. I do like fighting games and racing games, but it's not my mainstay. It's not the game I want to go back to time and time again. So for me to buy the extra peripheral would be a complete waste of time and money.
Yep. There you go. All right. Anybody else got anything y'all want to talk about? Any other random topics you want to bring in here?
No, let's close the show. Let's close the show.
All right. Well, thank you guys so very, very much. RGT episode 45. You guys were amazing. Thank you guys so much. You guys enjoyed the show. Hit that like button. You guys clearly see we have some trolls in here. But
Oh, they love me. They love me. They love me. Really.
they love you. They love you. I just find that funny. We dismissed one, like 8 came back. I was like, damn. Anyway,
I mean, if you ain't trolling, you ain't rolling, right?
that's true. You're
Listen,
not this.
People only troll because they lack the intelligence to do anything else.
That is true.
That's
Hey,
true.
thank you guys again. Episode 45. Y'all already know what it is. RGT. We take over y'all Fridays. Thank you guys so much for everything. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna go ahead and let everybody get their outros out, and we're gonna go ahead and end this show. What's up, Calamity Jones? What's going on? Go ahead, ladies first.
Thank you, everybody, for joining. Sorry, I was a little quiet. Long day today. Very tired, cold. Where I am anyway. So I do apologize for that. But thank you for coming. And whoever hit that like button, thank you very much. And you know where to find me. You know, playing games. So I'll see you next time.
Yeah. So we down for what's the name after this, right?
Huh?
Tekken 7.
Yeah.
Second set. Probably in a little bit. Yeah.
Let me know when you're ready. I'll definitely fire it up. Carlos.
Hey, man, as usual, as always, pleasure to being on here with everybody, especially in the chats and especially with the trolls as well. Yeah, have a blessed night. And yeah, episode 45. Gamer by choice, not by trend.
The holder of the Infinity Gauntlet, Craig Harris.
Yes. And as I've said before, thanks for having me. And for all you beginning PC gamers, go out there and get what you want and go AMD because you don't have to, you pay half the money and get just as good a performance. But thanks for having me here and a great time with everybody.
I got a game for you to try out. Go get Dead Space.
Oh,
You're gonna be shocked by how fast that game runs. I'm about to fire it up in a little bit and get some gameplay now.
Gaming pad,
200 frames per second.
I'm talking to over
I think
200.
it maxes out at 200. It won't show you anymore.
oh, that's some Dead Space. You're supposed to enjoy the ambiance.
oh, you're gonna enjoy the ambiance. Don't
Bro,
worry.
you get slapped in the face by the 144 frames per second. Ooh.
I've already beaten that game.
I mean, listen, when you play Alien Isolation over 200 frames per second, you definitely see what I'm talking about. Measure what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, we know. We know. Don't worry.
You know what I'm talking about. Trust me.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Foxy.
Well, I must say it's been a delight being in such pleasurable company. Very amiable conversation. Very nice exchange of ideas, as it should be. And for one, maybe two people, a very well-behaved chat. And really got to save the best till last. You know, play games, not corporations, and at special requests when the rhythm starts to move.
Oh, man.
Sway
All right,
with
who made the
me.
request? Somebody in
When
the
the
chat's
rhythm
gonna get in trouble now.
Wait, actually, he
Let
does.
it go.
I think the
Sway
request
with
came from
me.
himself. I don't even think it
When
came
the
from the chat.
rhythm starts to move.
There's the dislike button. There's the dislike button now.
Listen, man, I can't let my fans down, man. They wanted to hear me do some old time big band, some swing, baby. If you ain't got that thing, if you ain't got that swing.
The audience just got cut in half.
Oh God, Mez, go ahead, close it out for us, man, brother, with that DBZ closure.
I hope everybody had a great night. Enjoyed that Foxy singing and whatnot. Play games, take names. Yo, my very favorite fighter in the world is performing tomorrow at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, and I will be there. If you're around, holla at me. Don't be a weirdo.
Pacquiao, he's fighting tomorrow.
Yeah, but I ain't worried about Manny Pacquiao's 49-year-old ass. Anyways,
He's still gonna kick Ronan ass.
who? Oh, man. Anyway,
Ronan can't fight. That guy's what? He's a fake Floyd. He's a fake Floyd whatever.
Is Ryan ever going to beat Nancy in Tekken 7?
No.
Or is the RGT crew ever going to get this show down to 90 minutes? Find out on the next episode of RGT.
You heard it. You heard it from Meds here. Find out next week at 5 p.m. Eastern. I'm Rowdy Professional. Thank you guys again for joining us. We're definitely out of here. Y'all be blessed. Y'all be easy. And at the end of the day, we gamers, are we not? All right.
Yes, we are.
Be excellent to one another. And we out of here.
Peace and love. Peace and love.